Hello, everybody, and welcome to another of the Neverwinter in Peril interludes. Sword Coast in Peril now, but this one will be taking place a little farther back in the timeline, where between Gale and his retainer Leo. Tonight's interlude will be a flashback scene of something that happened that we didn't really have time to cover, but we wanted to because it's a cool scene for you guys at home. And a cool scene for us to be able to experience as players and the DM. It will just be myself and one player this evening, and we will see you all on YouTube because this is only going to be pre-recorded. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you over on YouTube. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell because we will not be doing our traditional outro for this particular one. Thank you everybody, and we're going to go over to the D&D table now. Hello.
Hello.
How are you this evening?
I'm very excited.
Fantastic. Would you like to introduce yourself and the character you will be playing this evening?
Yes. So I am Lynx. I am comfortable with any pronouns, and you can find me under the username QuarkLynx wherever you socialize your medias, including here on YouTube and Twitch, etc. And tonight I will be playing the party's wizard, the little princeling, tiefling, blade singer wizard. You may have heard of him. His name is Mithrandir Harrion Michaelis, or just Gale. He uses he, her pronouns, and I use a voice changer to give him his voice. So if you hear someone, one of the two people in here speaking in a British accent, that's not Belle. That's me. Hi.
Fantastic. And I will be playing most of the NPCs. Not all of them tonight. Most of them.
Yeah. We're kind of going to be doing something a little bit unique. We're sort of going to be like taking turns, I guess, with it, leading the narrative.
It's called co-DMing, and it's going to be great. This is the first time anyone's been willing to do this with me, so I'm excited. Here, let me make the DM screen bigger. So now both of us are behind it.
Oh, cozy.
Oh Lord. Okay. So.
Yeah.
If you
what's gonna happen here? Mm-hmm. Is Leo is gonna become your DM PC, and I'm gonna be guiding you through some of these scenes.
Fantastic. Very excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're gonna play a little narrative tag.
Who should be tagged first?
Yeah. Me. I'm it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. So, before we decided that we needed this little dedicated mini-sode, we had established that in the main course of the campaign, Gale was kind of going crazy. So that's where we're at. Gale was back in Neverwinter. Everyone's still in Neverwinter just before the High Sun Games. Gale's being insane. Running around along with all of his retainers like so many headless chickens, trying to cram far too much into far too little time. Because Gale has been planning to propose to Leo and probably made like 50,000 plans for how he should do it before settling on one. But most of what he'd been working on was for like the banquet that we have already seen occur in the future compared to where we are now in the timeline. Gale helped prepare that. But between all of the hubbub of Gale's preparations and Leo helping with the Neverwinter militia, we established previously as well that Gale had sent an assortment of gifts and flowers and other small gestures of affection to Leo for his dowry over the course of the week. And I went over those items previously. So I don't think there's a need to recap that right now. It was just a bunch of magic items and some cute little things.
Which Leo appreciated very much.
Yeah, he did. However, you did also mention that they made him slightly uncomfortable. So care to elaborate on that? What is our statuesque little lad thinking?
So the thing with Leo is that any grand gesture, because he never saw himself as anyone of stature. Like, yes, he's a very tall man, but like in standing in the court, he's a knight. It's not proper for you to be showering him with gifts. Though he
Mm-hmm.
knows this is a dowry, and technically, Gale doesn't know this yet, he is not royalty, but like magic royalty, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Son of Tasha.
Yeah.
So he knows that, yes, he is deserving of being showered in lavish gifts, but also this is not how it's supposed to go. It's supposed to be the other way around.
I believe we did actually establish that Gale encountered Leo's mom in the previous interlude that Gale had.
Yes, actually,
in the little private session that we
is
did.
True.
Mm-hmm.
But
So that was a little bit off screen.
Yeah, he knows though that like Gale knows who Leo's mom is, but that's still how Leo sees himself. He's just a knight.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be paying a dowry to you in his mind.
Ah, that's so sweet. However, his mother is Tasha of Tasha's Cauldron. So all right. So okay, that's a good sort of gauge on his vibes right now, I guess. So for this mini session, we are going to borrow one of your favorite phrases. Pan in on the day before the party left Neverwinter. Before the banquet. Before the banquet held by Lady Neverember, everyone had spent the morning attending to some final tasks before leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And then they all headed to the Colosseum, where the fight of might and magic began.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm gonna briefly kind of we're gonna talk about that, because I don't think we got anyone's perspective other than the party members specifically.
Yeah. So Lady Neverember is watching. She's sitting there. To the discerning eye, with a maidservant and an unfamiliar maidservant, and then with Mordenkainen.
Mm-hmm.
The unfamiliar maidservant is Tasha in disguise.
Great. So she got to watch as Gale asked for a favor from Leo before the fight, which was probably cute.
Mm-hmm.
And then she also got to watch as Gale lost to a spectacular KO from Ashton without even getting a chance to use it.
Yeah, exactly. Got his ass whooped.
Yeah.
I think at the end of that fight, it is very clear that Leo is... He goes to stand up and get in the ring. And he goes to absolutely fucking murder Ashton, because he was going to do it. But... And people thought, Lady Neverember held person. It was Tasha. There was no getting out of that shit.
Of course
there was no way he was moving.
Well, at least she prevented him from getting into trouble.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I imagine...
And dishonoring Gale.
Yeah. I imagine Leo took some stress from all of that, though.
Oh, yeah. He's incredibly stressed. Knowing, because he could the Dispel Magic rune that's carved onto him, he had Tasha do most of those.
Oh, interesting.
But her magic is more powerful than what she put onto his body.
That explains that.
Yeah, that's where a lot of those came from. And then an apprentice of hers was the one who replaced his heart and made the slot for the sword and whatnot.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
All
right. So focus. Leo has just watched his fiance get physically beaten into unconsciousness. So that was fun. And he, after he's given like 2 seconds to calm down, fight has ended, the whole person has also ended. Probably couldn't have torn his eyes away if he'd tried, though.
Nope.
Even if he hadn't been held by a person.
Nope.
So yeah, Leo's not the most perceptive person, but Leo knows Gale.
Yeah.
So Leo would know for sure that Gale knew stronger spells than the ones he used, much more lethal ones. And Leo would easily have been able to tell that Gale was intentionally holding himself back and let himself lose.
He's grumpy about that. He's
Yeah.
incredibly grumpy about that.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak it, but it is obvious on his face.
Yeah, sure sucks that your fiance allowed himself to be harmed, ignoring his own well-being yet again for the sake of something that he perceived as more important, as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Leo probably wouldn't have been given a chance to properly emotionally recover and come to terms with seeing his fiance slammed in the ground at speed before
With
the
both of
High Sun
Ashton's
Games. Yeah. So Gale got slammed, no contest, and then the High Sun Games, and all Leo can do is continue to sit still and watch.
Yep. He's
Yeah,
he's not happy about it whatsoever.
Yeah. Speaking of watching, how did you imagine the retainers and other individuals being able to watch the High Sun Games? Would it have been like just a general view of the whole arena?
So
or
essentially, the way
like...
the arena works is in the
Mhm.
center of that arena, a maze kind of raises up. But as the maze raises up, it's less the maze raising up and the sand going down. So it's the sand kind of revealing this area, giving them an aerial view of where you guys are.
Mm-hmm.
So they can see the whole maze where you guys are.
Okay, great. Then Leo would probably be able to keep a good eye on Gale, right?
Yes. So he
Okay,
was able to, he kept track of Gale through the whole thing.
Yeah. So, okay. The party and Gale and Ashton were both given the Waters of Chord before the High Sun Games. So Gale had all his spell slots back, and he put on a great show and a brave face. But Leo would also notice that he wasn't able to perform at his best. And our audience and you, Belle, you might recall that Gale he rolled an 11 for his ability check for the games. So, yeah, Gale, he doesn't make any major mistakes, but Gale only uses safe support spells, and he only sticks towards the back of the group. And he tripped over a discarded leg on the battlefield.
And it's Leo in the stands is just sitting there, seething.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But hey, the party won. Great victory for the home team. The crowd goes wild, etc. Overcoming perils, incredible odds, and they all survived, which is probably the first time that's happened in decades of the games.
Centuries.
Yeah,
a
while.
Most of the time, at least one party member from every party dies. But with all the cameo characters, none of them died.
Yeah. So with this miraculous underdog victory for the home party, the crowd goes absolutely fucking nuts, celebrating without any restraint at all.
Yep. Loud uproarious applause, prestidigitation, loud clapping noises, the whole night.
Exactly. Yeah. Everyone goes absolutely bonkers banana pants, and the victors are congratulated, and the games come to a close, and the party exits the arena, and the crowd starts to filter out. How's Leo feeling after all of that?
Pissed.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that are going through Leo's mind. First and foremost, I'm going to kill that little street rat. The second I get the chance, I'm going to kill him. It'll be after Lord Mithrin Gale's banquet that he's been planning all week, because I can't ruin that for him. But the moment that that's over, I'm wringing that little bastard's neck.
Yeah, that's valid.
The other one is incredible fret and concern for Gale. And then third is, why the fuck did he not fight at his full strength? What the fuck is wrong with him?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Leah's over there reeling a little bit as The standing ovation peters out, and on either side of him are Dare and Solana. And Dare, teenage boy that he is, dramatically groans and slumps in his seat and seems relieved that it's over. And Solana gives like a low whistle, like, damn. And so I will be taking over as Solana and Dare for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to worry about Leo.
Yeah.
So Solana turns to Leo and Dare and just says, well, that was the most intense piece of entertainment that I've ever had to sit through. And I watched the games one year where every contestant died in that pyramids they had some wizard make. Ugh.
He didn't fight at his best.
No, he did not.
Leo just kind of looks over. His eyes, like it's the soft glow before the smite glow. Why?
She sighs and looks to the side. You know, I'm not certain. I imagine it was a tactical move on his part for some reason, or a political one. Our Lord thinks in mysterious ways. Even to me.
I understand that he wanted to give the crowd a show. Obviously, that's the kind of person he is. But I'll never tell him this, but that made Melvant look super weak.
Would it be worse to have one of the princes look weak, or to have one of the princes obliterate a priest accord in another city? Would it be better to be perceived as weak or as a threat?
Well, the way our country works, as a threat.
That might work for most of the princes.
I suppose. It's not for Mithrin Gale, obviously, but it was an honor thing for Melvant.
Dare, to the other side of Leo, kind of, he sits in his chair weird as always.
He's got the
but he sits
lane.
properly. Yeah, but he sits properly in his chair after Leo says that, and he just kind of groans like, I don't think Gale cares about that stuff if it gets in the way. Like, that's what he's got me for. I do all the sneaky shit and kill people for him.
I know. And I do the killing in front of people.
Yeah.
This was This was an opportunity to show the might of magic over brute force.
I mean, he showed off some cool stuff. I didn't know he could make a forest like that. That was sick.
Yeah, it was. It was sick. I worry that he's going to end up getting chewed out when the High Warden gets here.
Derek groans and Solana sighs, but she pats Leo on the arm. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen too soon.
Yeah. Ken's supposed to be coming for the banquet.
And Ken's always had a solid head on his shoulders. I'm sure he won't get too upset about it.
And a soft spot for our Lord. Don't forget that.
Exactly. No, it's probably fine. And, Leonidas, they'll get our Lord all healed up and looking spiffy as usual.
They fucking
and he'll be fine. There's a banquet in a few hours. They're not going to send him out covered in dirt and blood and displacer juices.
That's true. That's very true.
And, I know a certain knight who's been given a lot of excellent food recommendations to Lady Neverember for the banquet.
He gotta look. He shoots her a look and just puts a finger to his lips. Don't tell. Not a word. Not a word.
It's too late. Dare heard that, and Dare's perked up. Wait, food?
Damn it.
It's at the Moonstone Mask, right? Do you think they'll have that drink bar open?
Yeah, but you're not old enough to drink there, Dare.
No, but they've got like the green stuff, the
Oh.
mountain mist.
Yeah, the Mountain Dew. Yes.
Yeah, it sounds fucking rad.
Leo will reach into his bag and pull out a bottle because Leo got one for him. Here.
Oh my god, dude, you're the best. And
Yeah.
Dare,
Here, I got.
he's so
hands him-
excited.
He pulls out a red one too, and he goes, "Here, try this one too."
They come in so many colors.
Yeah, there's purple and orange too, but try those first.
I've got to get in there. I've got it. Okay, no, okay, I have a bet. I have to go.
Okay.
Don't go crazy.
No, I'm just gonna choke your friend. That's all.
No. Ashton's cool. Like, okay, he kind of kicked Gale's butt. However,
Kind of.
kind of totally, literally
Knees
kicked
to
Gale's
the
butt.
spine into the dirt.
Yeah, that looked really painful.
I'm gonna put him under the dirt.
Can you try not to kill him?
Sure.
Cool. Thanks, dude. I'm gonna go now before you get any scarier looking.
As he
Uh,
scurries off, he's gonna pull
yeah.
out the orange Mountain Dew and just
Mhm.
chuck it at the back of his head.
Make a an attack roll?
Yeah, it's gonna be it's a ranged attack roll, so it's a d20 plus Leo's
Yeah.
dexterity, or no, it would be
Mhm.
strength because he's throwing it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna fucking hurt. That's, okay.
Just roll for the attack to see if it hits, and we'll. Okay. So, here's what we're gonna do. That does not meet Dare's AC.
Yeah.
So with a 26 dexterity saving throw, Dare catches it.
Here, you little shit.
And he looks. Yeah, he doesn't say anything, but he does stick his tongue out and flip Leo off and run away.
Leo's just slowly reaching for his longbow.
I know what you want to do. Don't do it.
But it'd be funny if I just shot him in through the calf. He'd have to limp. It'd be funny.
Solana just raises an eyebrow, like, "Are you sure? Are you sure?"
You know, I could hit him with a javelin instead, and it wouldn't waste any arrows.
You know, I'm just gonna go by the fact that you haven't done it yet and assume that you won't,
Yeah.
because you have more sense than that.
Yes, exactly. I'm not gonna hurt him. No matter how much I fucking want to.
All right. Restraint. Good. Yeah. Sure. All right. She like slaps her legs Midwestern goodbye style and stands up. Well, Sir Tavish, enough sulking. You're worried about him, right?
Of fucking course I am. It doesn't
Alright.
help that my mother was in the fucking stands. He'll throw
Yeah.
his pack over his back.
Okay, so I want to ask real quick.
Uh-huh.
How's Leo feeling? Other than just like
So
he's upset generally, but do you
It-
think?
it's a worry that he doesn't know why Tasha's here, because it's not for him, right? Because she'd have made it obvious that she was there for him, and he doesn't trust her. So he's like, I don't know why she's here, but she keeps popping up around Gale, and that's bad.
Okay.
And that's kind of where his mindset is.
Okay, so he's a little bit distracted then.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right. Solana kind of like snaps her fingers in front of his face a little bit. Hey, big guy, down here.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Worried.
All right. So, I'm not supposed to tell you this. It's top secret. Our Lord has something planned for you to see him before the banquet.
What?
So, we can either go with this plan here, and then continue on to meet with him, or I can take you away and we can skip it. It's a lot of pomp and circumstance. It's perhaps somewhat ostentatious, but he did plan it for you.
If he planned
But
it, then we're doing it.
all right. Then you take your seat back now, little guy.
Little?
Uh,
You do realize the
she
form
grins
you
at him.
take when you're not a dragon, right? You're a dwarf. You know you're small, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could eat you in one bite.
Fuck you.
Anyway. She looks around to make sure that no one is left in the arena.
Yeah, it's literally just Tasha. It's literally just his mom.
Mm-hmm. Solana looks at her directly and raises an eyebrow.
She just does that little thing where some people wave with their fingers. It's the little hello with just the fingers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Seems like your mother intends to stay. You all right with that?
I mean, what's she gonna do? You're a dragon.
That is true. I could ask her to leave if you'd like. But
Only
we
if
won't
you're
be
gonna
here very
do it
long
in
anyway.
only if you're gonna do it in your true form. Because watching her run from your kind is hilarious.
Technically, that is part of it. So, you know what? Later stay, later watch. Should be entertaining. Now, you take your seat.
He does. He's already sat down. Like when she said to sit down before.
Okay, great. All right. I'll be right back. And she hustles off until Leo is just left sitting there alone in the stands, except for his mother.
Yeah. Tasha's just sitting there watching. Kind of, you know how Gale had kind of gone down into the little area where all of the gladiators go to get healed up. It's almost as if Tasha's watching Gale move through the building.
Fun. So she's keeping an eye on Gale then. Cool. She would, if she can see Gale, like, directly.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. She would see Gale use a spell scroll and disappear.
It's immediately a scrying orb in her hand.
All right, yeah, she can keep an eye on him from there. Unless, well, let me check the scrying spell. On the same plane of existence as you. The target must make a wisdom saving throw, which is modified by how well you know the target. Does that still count? Is she casting the spell, or is she using an item?
She's using an orb. She's using the scrying orb, so it doesn't count.
Okay. All right, then.
She's just spying on him.
Okay, great. Yep. Good to know. All right, then yeah, she'll be able to see what goes down. But for now, we're gonna center back on the arena while Tasha's doing her weird, creepy, overbearing mother shit.
Yeah.
So the maze has been long since cleared from the arena.
Oh, yeah. It's just an empty maze now.
Yeah, but it doesn't stay empty for long. Because much like when the fight of might and magic began, illusion magic bursts across the whole arena once more and transforms it into a different place entirely. So now, Leo and Tasha, if she's looking, now look down on a grove of tall, slender trees with golden leaves and glowing fruits made of gems that hang like lanterns.
Tasha's
Deep
immediately
emerald.
like raised an eyebrow, looking around, very intrigued.
Yeah. So, what was sand is now a deep emerald green grass that sways in a non-existent breeze, and the leaves on the trees tinkle pleasantly like bells as a royal blue bed of flowers springs forth like a carpet, a runway, sprouting up in a long stripe from the entrance of the arena towards roughly 3/4 of the way, like across the arena from where Leo sits.
Mm-hmm.
Following the path laid by the flowers, a procession marches, kicking up petals with every step. It's quite a flurry of activity, because out come a dozen or so musicians, bearing horns and drums and fiddles and mandolins, all dressed in regalia bearing the crest of Melvant, the silver stag with its starry antlers. They're playing, as they emerge, a mid-tempo, well-known tune from the region of the Sea of... crap. What's it called? The Sea of Stars? The Moon Sea?
The Moon Sea.
The Moon Sea. So it's a song from home, written by the songstress, Miss Clothier Quick. It tells a love story of two characters in a popular play who first saw one another when they were young and fell in love and struggled to overcome their star-crossed fates and their family's disapproval, ending in a happy and romantic proposal that deviates from the established canon of the tragic play.
Leo
so
is
the
sitting there
musicians...
with like his you know that like when certain men get flustered, they've just got a fist in front of their mouth.
Mhm.
They're just sitting there like tapping it on the upper lip, just under the nose.
Mhm.
That's what he's doing.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a lot, isn't it?
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah, and they're not done, because as they play, they follow a precise marching formation, weaving between one another and gliding into place expertly to form a large heart right as the song reaches its conclusion.
I'm going to kill him. I'm going to strangle my boyfriend. Fine. Just family tradition now.
So, in the center of the heart, in the midst of all these blue flowers and incredible flora, Solana appears in a puff of mist, dressed in her full heraldry and bearing a flag that billows in the otherwise still air.
She can see his eyes narrow.
Yeah, she gives him a look that basically says, "You should have seen this bullshit coming." As she pulls out a very ornate and hefty looking scroll, like the size of her leg, and begins to read aloud from it with the aid of thaumaturgy. Sir Leonidas, Alaric Tavish, you are hereby summoned in the name of our Prince of the Gales, Mithringale Harry and Michaelis, Hand of the High Warden, Ambassador to Faerun, and beloved of the House of Melvant, to appear before him in audience and receive accolades in recognition of your service to the crown and acknowledgement of your virtue, stalwartness, Pan-Glausian meliorism, abracadabrantesk, elegofusino.
Is that even a word?
I don't know. She starts like unfurling the scroll further, and just looks more concerned the more she skims. She just it starts rolling on the ground. It starts going off for several feet.
Leo at this point has jumped the rail and is on his way over to her as he's picking up the other side of the scroll. Did he really write this like by himself? It's that spell. It's the one that lets him read real good, isn't it? I bet you.
I bet. Okay, yeah, this goes on for several pages. How about you just read that later if you want? And she just like releases it.
Yeah, I get the gist. And he's like rolling it up. Tasha,
when she lets it go, it scrolls up on its own. So yeah, the scroll scrolls up on its own, and Solana snaps her fingers actually, and it folds down into a miniature version of itself.
Oh.
So he can hold it in his hand now.
Oh, good. I wasn't gonna want to. I didn't want to heft this.
Yeah.
He'll, like,
no, he handed it to me,
back.
and I put that on it. It was too much to carry. Anyway, so I read the bottom part at least, and the gist basically is that you and me better get to the forest post haste like. I think you know what's coming.
Yep. Grand gesture and all that.
Something there. And she waves a hand and dismisses the performers. And as they walk out, the illusion of the trees dissipate until just the sea of dark flowers is left and the grass. All right. You ready?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. All right. Seriously, though, brace yourself.
Yeah, I'm
You
aware.
know how he gets.
Yep, I'm already braced. Trust me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know if you are properly. I know you know how he gets when it comes to Manders of the Heart.
Yep.
But he's really outdone himself this time.
I believe it. Trust me. I believe
All right.
it. If
She
this
bows
is what
with a
he
flourish.
was doing,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, I definitely believe it.
This is just part of it. I've been tasked with escorting you to the main event, and then I'll see you both at the banquet.
I'm gonna buy a dragon slaying sword after this.
Oh, how sweet. The gallant knight in shining armor racing towards his battered beloved beside Ustrad, a silver dragon that he's just threatened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, you know it is rather romantic, aside from the threats.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get so.
All right. I take it you're ready to perch these walls on love's light wings, little elf? She, starts stretching.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
All right. Might want to take, 20 steps back.
Yep.
Real quick.
Yep. And he will
Yeah.
leap backwards. He's like, nope. That's
Yeah,
a big
just
fuck
in
off dragon.
time.
That is an adult silver dragon.
Yeah, the empty arena is abruptly filled with the massive silver dragon that is Solana.
Solana
her-
sees Tasha just immediately dip. Like, it's gate and gone.
There's a deep, deep rumble as Solana, as a dragon, chuckles audibly. Like, most silver dragons usually talk with psychic mind link, but she's, growl laughing. It amuses her greatly. But Leo would stick around and would, as the sand and dust all settle, would see, how bright she is in the afternoon sun. She's
it's
basically a big disco ball.
yeah, it's him going, Jesus, you can't put a matte paint on your scales.
She chuffs and unfurls her wings, shakes them out a little, and stretches as a dragon briefly, and then turns to him. She's being very patient with this impatient little creature. So she reaches out a claw to help him onto her back if he needs it.
He will in fact climb on. He razzes her like this all the time.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So she's used to it. So she doesn't feel a need to react. So once he's settled on there, she gives him a very brief warning, just telling him to hold on tight, little monkey, before she raises her great wide wings and beats down hard, forcing them up from the ground like a rocket.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it is a swift flight. It is every pump of her powerful wings makes air rush into Leo's face. If his face were more malleable, he would have that leaf blower face. Yeah, his face would be very silly looking. Unfortunately, he's beautiful and perfect, so his face remains unblemished. Air pressure.
Yeah. It's he's sitting there kind of very quietly. Man, I'm glad I'm made out of porcelain.
So he would probably have to cling pretty close, pretty low against her back.
It's not the first time he's ridden on the back of a dragon.
Of course, yeah. But this is probably the first time that he's gotten such a rare and picturesque view of the city of Neverwinter, right as the sun sets off the coast.
Beautiful view of this city.
Oh, breathtaking.
There's a reason they call it the Jewel of the North.
It is just a spectacular sight as the sun just slowly dips further below the high horizon into the ocean, bathing the world in this warm golden glow, despite the frigid air whipping around his face.
Mhm.
But Solana flies swiftly north towards Mount Hoteno, reaching in mere minutes what would have taken nearly half a day's travel.
Yeah.
And she touches down on a flat portion of stone, too flat to be natural. I don't know. Would Leo be aware of the dwarf crisis that Gale was helping solve?
Yeah, he was informed.
Mhm. Okay.
Just in case Gale may have needed uh, physical backup should
Okay.
the dwarves be there to cause trouble.
Okay. Yeah, he would probably be able to maybe put two and two together that magically flat stone. This is not natural. Gale was doing something on Mount Hanteno with dwarves and stone. Mm.
Yeah, this is Gale's handiwork.
Yeah. So she touches down there, and she would help him down again if he needs it.
No, he'll like slide down and pat the side of her like
Several stories tall
yeah,
haunches.
yeah, essentially, and go, thanks for the help. Would have been hours without you flying me here.
That's what he asked me to do.
So what's the next step? Where is he at?
Oh. And she leans down. She's talking to him psychically now with actual words instead of dragon sounds.
Uh-huh.
And her giant dragon face is very close as she looks down, like her big spiky muzzle with her high glowing eyes. It's like the same kind of unsettlingly intense blue that
Mhm.
Gale's eyes take on when he goes dragon mode.
Yeah.
And if she could raise an eyebrow, she would be. She does whatever the dragon equivalent of that is.
Dragons have eyebrows. They're just made of scale.
Okay, she raises a scaly eyebrow then.
Uh-huh.
And she tells him, "Walk east. You will find your beloved within a grove. He awaits you beneath the earth, for stony limits cannot hold love out. And what love can do, that dares love attempt." And then she nudges him with her snout, affectionately, but indicating the direction he should go.
It is very
And
clear
then
that he is very upset.
she just takes off. She flies off with a great gust of cold wind.
Okay, the cold wind wasn't necessary.
So Leo's left alone in a large clearing within the darkening forest on the side of Mount Hoteno as the sky fades to dusky purples.
Map.
What does he do?
Compass.
Okay, all right. So he's gonna try and navigate
Yep.
as it gets dark.
Yeah, absolutely. He is, as Gale's bodyguard, he is used to
Mhm.
navigating via the stars on ships because
Mhm.
they live on an island.
Yeah. However, Leo doesn't have magic, dark vision, and he doesn't have his stuff on him. He can see for a
Shit.
little while.
You know what he can do?
Uh-huh.
He can channel his magic through his body and make himself glow.
Yes, he can.
That's
That
what
works.
he does.
Cool. So does he head into the forest?
Yeah, he's going to one of the few features of his new body that he really loves is basically make
Mhm.
himself a living flashlight.
Oh, my glow stick man. I love him so.
And he's going to
all right.
navigate via the stars and the map in his hand,
Cool.
where this grove is.
Cool. How engrossed is he in this map? Is he being aware of his surroundings?
Oh yeah, no, he's paying attention, very
Okay.
very heavily because there are monsters that live in this fucking forest.
Yeah, there are. In fact, I'd like you to make a perception check for me.
Okay. Hold on a second, it's loading.
Oh God.
That's 2. That is a 2 with a modifier of 0.
Okay, that's so great. That's cool. Make a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage.
Oh, wonderful. It's his worst fucking stat. Actually, no. Wisdom is his worst stat, or intelligence is his worst stat. That 8.
Yep, he's not the smartest cookie in the drawer. Oh God.
That's a 2.
That is
Natural
a
1.
critical failure.
Natural 1. Total 2.
Mm-hmm. Great. Cool. All right. So,
Very heavy
well,
man. He is made of metal and porcelain.
yeah. So what happens is, at some point, Leo holds the map up close to his face so he can look at it,
Mm-hmm.
and then very suddenly, the map has somehow gotten on his face, and something is behind the map and made impact with his face. Oh, that's so weird. Something has just flown into the map and into his face.
He's just gonna reach with the other hand that wasn't on the map and grab whatever it is and just squeeze for a second and then move the map off of his face.
There's a tiny pained squeak when he squeezes.
He looks at the little pseudo dragon, and goes, "Oh,
Yep.
Oh, it's you."
Yeah.
He kind of lets the pseudo dragon kind of climb up his arm.
Yeah, after he releases it, it flops dramatically.
Uh-huh.
And it looks offended. And in fact, it psychically conveys the emotion of being offended.
I will step on you.
It sticks out its tongue and licks its eyeball in response.
What do you want, Scooby? That's what Leo named him. That's what Leo named him. Scooby.
That's so cute, but also stupid. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's better than
not
either spill or just not having a name. Yeah. So after a few moments, the lizard deigns to sit up properly, and it straightens itself up and tries to look important, or as important as a small lizard can look, and conveys the simple concept of guiding to Leo.
So he said you.
It nods.
Dare at least has 2 brain cells to rub together. Yeah, lead on.
Cool. All right. So lizard takes that as confirmation, and then it tilts its head and
throw a treat to the thing because
it tilts its head and it scratches itself briefly, and then the spell light starts emanating from this little lizard from its belly, and it lifts off.
He follows.
Yeah. So it leads Leo through the forest, glowing like the world's largest firefly. And it takes like less than 10 minutes to walk before they come to the barrier that Big B and Mordenkainen created. And I don't know if you described what that looks like.
So the shield spell is invisible, right? When you touch it, it ripples, but it is like if you've ever seen something that's invisible in a video game where there's like kind of an outline, it's that. Like there's this, like looking at something through water. That's what it looks like to look into the grove.
The pseudo dragon does go through it first. Do you think Leo would notice that or like react to it in any way? Or would he just follow?
He kind of takes a look at it and goes, "Nope. If Mithrin Gale sent that thing after me, there's a reason this is here." And then he walks through.
Okay, yeah, he's perfectly fine. Nothing happens.
Yeah,
it
he's
just
checking
looks
himself
weird.
immediately. Like, didn't turn pink or nothing, did I?
The pseudo dragon conveys the word yes, but it feels like a lie because it's
lying.
not true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's lying to Leo and being like, it's trying to fuck with him.
Leo's just slowly unsheathing a javelin.
Um,
I can pay him
Cool,
back for the resources that this would take.
the pseudo dragon stops flying and just drops into the thick blanket of ash that covers the ground like snow. It just kind of creates a small lump in the ash. But that does bring us to our setting.
Mhm.
Leo's in a small clearing where almost everything is burned completely to charcoal.
Leo is
At a glance,
completely
yeah.
confused and just calls out,
Yeah.
Gale?
His voice echoes across the clearing into the night sky. It doesn't appear as though there's a single sign of life in there, aside from the sole tree standing at the center. It's kind of bleak. What do you think Leo would do? I mean, there's like a couple of things here, but the dragon has just fallen into the ash and has doused the light source briefly. Like, he's kind of...
He's lighting himself, first and foremost.
Okay, great.
Secondly, he's going to walk over to the tree and just kind of say a soft prayer, because obviously something terrible happened here.
Yeah. That's sweet.
And then he's going to look for Gale.
Cool. So as he's walking around a little bit, the pseudo dragon pops up in and out of the ash intermittently, trying to... It flies in loop-de-loops, trying to catch stray pieces of soot for a few minutes, and then diving back into the ash. Just a little glowing lump wiggling around, meandering in circles. It's a very dumb little lizard.
Yeah.
It's very stupid.
And
So
Leo's going to go, Scooby, where's Gale?
It pops up out of the ash and tilts its head at him, and the concept down is conveyed.
Down, as in the mountain.
It licks its face.
Useless fucking lizard. Alright, and he takes out a shovel. Fuck it. It's like, alright. Well.
Yeah, okay. Seeing that and remembering what it's supposed to be doing, in fact, the pseudo dragon tilts its head again, like it's listening for something, and is then it remembers what it's supposed to be doing. And I made a wisdom save for little lizard, and it failed miserably, so it's just been frolicking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as Leo starts digging into the earth, I guess.
Yeah, no,
he does find
like,
something interesting.
He's digging, and he's got a pick, so he's also busting up rock as he tries.
Before he gets down too far, like barely any deep at all, his first strike with the shovel, he would, beneath the ash, find some small tender green sprouts. Beginnings of new life. Plant life. Buried beneath the remains of that which was lost.
He immediately patches it back up with the shovel. He's like, shit.
Yeah, so it may have been hard to see at a glance, but this grove isn't quite as dead as it looks. But as Leo's trying to fix that, the lizard would leap back on Leo's shoulder and nudge against his face, leaving a sooty mark with its sooty tiny body and stupid head.
Okay.
And then it conveys the simple concept, stone.
Stone?
It
What
repeats
stone?
it. Stone. It tilts its head and then does a little circle on his shoulder and flies up and waits in front of him like it's going to lead him again.
Yep, he's immediately, lead on, Scooby.
Okay, yeah. So it leads him to one of the few other objects in the clearing. That wasn't perhaps as noticeable as the others were before because it's dark and it is made of a dark stone.
Yep.
But
Giant obsidian obelisk.
Scooby, yeah, Scooby leads him to the big obsidian obelisk, and with that terrible perception roll, I just kind of carried that over because how is he going to see a pitch black thing in the middle of the night? So Leo's led to this big, tall piece of obsidian that the familiar flies up to it, and touches it, and kind of like lands on top of it. And then it looks down at the obelisk, and then at Leo, and then down, and then back up, and
Leo is
tilts its head
already
again.
over there. Like, okay.
Mhm.
And he'll put his hand on the stone and kind of channel radiant energy into it. Kind of see what happens.
He doesn't even have to channel energy into it. The moment he touches it, it activates. And for an instant, there is a swooping sensation in his gut, like he's falling, or whatever the Warforged equivalent of a gut is, I suppose.
No, he's got like
Okay.
artificial organs. Gale's seen them.
Mhm.
He's got like an
Yeah.
artificial organ system, so that he can
Okay,
eat
great.
things.
Cool, yeah. So his stomach feels like it's in his throat, and the ground beneath his feet suddenly becomes way softer than it was even before with all the ash.
Yeah.
And he's teleported hundreds of feet below where he previously stood.
One of the few things that he carries on him when he's not armed is a pocket knife, and it's in his hand. He's like, nope, this is fucking weird.
All right. Well, okay. So Scooby's still there. Scooby's flying in the air. Scooby also teleported and was in midair.
He just kind
But
of pockets the thing and goes, okay, that was intentional. That wasn't me fucking it up. Got it.
as he takes a breath, he can probably gain a rough sort of scan of his surroundings.
Mm-hmm. That's in the immediate.
At the very
he's
least.
doing.
Yeah, at the very least, he can probably discern that the air feels different. Instead of the dry, cool, windy mountain air, it is now still and moist and icy cold. He can probably hear the faint crackle of ice and the distant echoing sounds of dripping water. I mean, he can't see too far because the bright white light emanating from Scooby on his shoulder
Mhm.
only extends for about 40 feet. But that is probably enough for him to see the surface that he's standing on. It looks kind of cottony, and soft. It's really squishy. It's weird.
Yeah, so he just kind of starts heading toward the dripping water noise.
Okay. All right. As he starts walking, I think, okay, what I want you to do is roll me, give me either history or nature.
Ooh,
I would also accept investigation.
13 history.
Is his investigation modifier any better?
Oh yeah.
Okay, then we can swap those
Okay.
modifiers.
So then that would be
and just keep the same
That
roll.
would have been a 17.
Okay. All right. So with the 17 investigation, let's see how Leo's known about Solana being a silver dragon for a long time,
like
right? Yeah.
She is technically his like support, so he
Yes.
knows.
Okay. All right. So with that investigation check and the familiarity he has with Solana, Leo can for sure now, at this point, tell, as he started walking, that he is in an enormous, echoey subterranean cavern filled with ice. And his familiarity with Solana allows him to recall that Silver Dragon's lair has solidified clouds and ice in them
Mhm.
more often than not. And yeah, Leo Leo knows a silver dragon who's been spending the past week with Gale.
She couldn't have just brought
So
me
wild.
here. She couldn't have just brought me here. Like, it's her lair. Scooby, did you know about this?
It looks up at him and chirps, and it doesn't comprehend anything.
He'll just hand the little pseudo dragon another treat.
It gobbles it up immediately. But as Leo takes another couple of steps, he passes what appears to be a large, icy stalagmite and is able to see a faint blue light in the distance coming from behind a large silhouetted shape way up high. And let's see. Yeah, it seems to be quite a ways above where Leo stands. But Leo knows that color. He knows that sky blue glow. That's Gale up there.
He is sprinting. It is full sprint at this point.
Oh, that's cute. However, he does reach the end of the clouds, and he's not quite high enough. He's not quite close enough to be able to get up. But when he reaches the edge of the cloudy path, Scooby here flies up to where Gale is, and the faint glow in the distance stops. And Scooby isn't too far. He's not too far away, and he flies back down to Leo. Actually,
this is right as Leo is about to do a just fucking running leap
into the darkness.
Yeah, fuck it.
Okay, no. Scooby comes back down and lands on Leo, on his face, and another spell is cast on Leo through the familiar. Leo now has dark vision for the next 8 hours.
Leo blinks, moves the thing, and goes, "You know, you could have just cast that on me. Like, what are we doing here?"
After removing the dragon from his face, Leo can see the giant earth moat floating in front of him.
Oh.
Several, 50 feet away. So probably would have been a rough jump.
Yeah.
Like, but now that
good thing I didn't just take a leap into my death. That's good.
Yeah, that would have been rough. But now that Leo's dark vision, he can see the rest of the cavern too, at least most of it. In fact, like most of the pillars of ice in the cavern seem to have a very, very faint glow to them that he couldn't see before now. And it actually it kind of looks like the walls are filled with like an aurora, and with the artful clouds swirled around the room, it feels like a very cozy icy cave somehow. It's very homey. But at that point, Leo could look up and he could notice Gale leaning over the edge of the earth moat, looking down at him. As Scooby immediately rockets back up and flies to him really quickly and lands on his shoulder. So that would definitely get Leo's attention.
Yeah, no, immediately he's looking in the direction that Scooby started flying.
Yeah, and Gale yells down,
"Leo, just a moment. I'll be right down."
And he retreats for a moment, stepping away from the edge. Just for a second. And then he leaps off of it.
Leo is immediately in panic mode.
Mm-hmm.
He's just sitting there like hands out, like, shit, not again.
Oh, yeah, okay. So Gale, little tiny fiance wizard man, hurtles through the air for a few absolutely breathtaking seconds, like not breathtaking, breath-stealing seconds, terrifying. And then his descent is suddenly slowed as he unfurls his wings like a parachute. Because Gale has activated dragon mode, which allows him to glide down.
He sees Leo let out a breath, and then he hears, "Next time, lead with the wings." Do you not remember what happened the last time you felt like that?
Oh, it's fine.
And then he lands in front of Leo after a few more moments. He seems kind of dressed down for the occasion, actually. Just a casual shirt and pants and the cape of warming that Leo got for him, which is quite appropriate because it's very cold
It's
in
fucking
there.
cold, yeah.
It's like below freezing levels. It's sub-zero temperatures in here. But he lands and he undoes the transformation. And he's gotten a lot faster at it than he was before. So clearly he's been practicing. But yeah, he seems a little more undone than usual. A little bit more down to earth, more casual, like he's been working on something strange. Oh, weird. His sleeves are rolled up? Oh, man. Anyway, so this is the first time that Leo has seen Gale in hours. Probably...
Almost like 6-7 hours.
Yeah, it's been a rough day. And the last time Leo saw Gale, he had been smashed, knee dropped, a variety of other things. And now he just jumped off the earth mode. How's Leo feeling?
2 seconds, I just put almonds in my mouth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. So Leo's over there snacking away. No.
Sorry. I have to do this, otherwise my blood sugar gets low.
I understand.
But Leo looks at Gale and goes, "I know you say that, but the last time you and I were in a situation where you were falling, I died. If you
I
recall."
apologize.
Secondly, are your ribs okay? You
My
got
ribs?
kneed in the back into the ground, ribs first.
Oh, well, I was briefly unconscious, so I assume it was fine afterwards. I was healed up briefly.
He'll like
honestly,
gently
it
like
was
reach
kind of a
forward
blur.
and grab like Gale just around, like, you know where the proper waist is, like where you're supposed to wear your pants. That's where he grabs Gale, like right where the ribs meet the belly. And he just kind of goes, is like like a doctor would inspect a set like your ribs if they've been broken. This hurt?
Oh,
Does this hurt?
no.
About this
I'm
one?
fine now.
Good.
That tickles.
I'm going to kill Ashton the next time I see him.
How about you don't? That would pose several problems, actually, in fact.
Okay, I'm at least beating his ass. Regardless, I promised Dare I wouldn't murder him, but I'm going to beat him into the ground. You have no idea how tempted I was to jump that rail and beat him for you.
And I'm very grateful that you exercised restraint and didn't.
I mean, I didn't do it on my own. My mother stopped me.
That takes Gale off guard for a moment because he didn't notice. He was a little busy.
He was unconscious.
Yeah.
Hold Person is a powerful spell when cast at a specific level of magic.
Yes, so Tasha was there.
Watch
And she
the
watched.
whole thing.
Oh dear. I already feel poorly enough that my...
That you
Someone
lost
bet on
on
me.
purpose?
Not on purpose. I did have a plan, but...
You also had far stronger spells, my love. You could have
Not-
thunder waved him, at least got to get him away from you.
I could have, but that's hardly as flashy as throwing in alchemist's fire and having him catch it, because I knew he could do that.
While that's true, a loud clap of thunder is really freaking cool.
I did prepare it. I did. I had several others prepared. Also, I had intended to use a fireball because that would have been amusing.
That would have
Not because it would have worked.
That would have also been really cool.
unfortunately, I did not get the time to enact some of my more elaborate plans.
Yes, unfortunately, he needs you in the back so hard you fell unconscious.
Yes, it was only the knees that knocked me unconscious.
And
Nothing
the
else.
fall.
Mm-hmm.
My love, when you're going to do something that dangerous, warn me that you're not going to use your most powerful spells beforehand, because I was genuinely worried that something was wrong. Not that I'm scolding you or anything. I just want to communicate to you that I was terrified and will be talking to Ashton in the morning.
Well, I'm.
And Gale, he looks like he feels bad. He looks regretful, and he
just kind of
holds Leo's hands.
Leo shifts that, like, as he tries to take his hand, shifts
Mhm.
one hand to Gale's cheek and looks at him and goes, "You did amazing, but don't scare me."
I'm
like
sorry
that.
that I worried you.
It's okay. It was politically the best move to do, and I trust
I
you.
am the diplomat, not the warmonger.
Exactly.
And besides, the people wanted to see a show. What fun would it have been if I just flown up into the air and magic missiled him until fatality?
Okay, but consider the comedy aspect of that. That would have been hilarious.
I suppose.
You might have got the hell smacked out of you by Cord, but
I should apologize as well for the rough arrival you must have had. I'm sorry. I had expected another 12 minutes to prepare. I wrote quite a lot for Solana to read, so I thought.
oh
I
yeah,
suppose she
and
just
he
read it very
takes
quickly.
the scroll out and he like he just kind of tips it down like you let a scroll unfurl. He just lets it go. She got about right here before she stopped reading.
That would explain why you are early.
Because
By 12 minutes.
Because is this even a word? And you'll point to the last one that she said. Is this one even a word?
Oh. Yes. Let me see. Sorry, it's upside down. Oh yes, Elegofutio hippocunicorous. It basically means praiseworthy.
And you couldn't have just put that there, or did you do it specifically?
I
it
did,
take
down
time?
here.
I see. Gale,
I put
my darling, wonderful muse that you are, right? The art in which I make, even though it pales in comparison to yours, your skin like the fire upon the braziers of the highest mountains, my darling, darling Gale. What are we doing here?
Gale looks a little bit flustered. He wasn't expecting such adorable praise, and to be asked so abruptly what the purpose of this was.
Like,
So
Leo's looking at him like he knows, but he wants to hear Gale say it.
Gale releases Leo's hands and straightens up and clears his throat a little bit and says,
you have been summoned for a specific purpose, but first, how about we get off this tiny cloud and up where the things will be occurring.
Yeah, am I supposed to climb or jump or what's the
I had
plan
not
here?
finished when you arrived, so please take 7 steps backwards.
He does. He steps
finish.
back as commanded.
Okay, yeah. Gale rolls up his sleeves and he takes a few moments to focus, and then he casts a water wall. It starts as a waterfall cascading down from the top of the earth moat, but he carefully shapes it into a grand staircase with swirls and rails and everything, and he concentrates deeply for several moments, and then he quickly casts another spell an instant later at the same time with a few simple draconic words. A blast of icy air bursts forth from his hands, turning the water into a solid structure.
he
So Gale has
froze
just
it.
Elsa'd his way up.
Oh my god. Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah, Gale steps forward onto the stairs and he gives it a good heft, a good test with his weight, and then he looks back at Leo, and then for good measure, he tests it with a magic missile to make sure that it's stable.
I would say it's probably stable. Water wall
Yeah.
is huge. So
Also,
that's a big sheet
this-
of ice.
This is a silver dragon's lair.
Yeah, it immediately freezes. You were lucky it
Mhm.
didn't immediately freeze to begin with.
Yeah. So Gale has made a beautiful grand staircase, and he clears his throat and turns back.
So now that's done. We can walk up with the attributes of this cavern. It shouldn't shatter or melt either. So,
He nods
would
and
you
goes, I need my backpack.
your backpack?
The one that I normally carry when we go into battle. The golden brown one.
Battle?
Yeah,
You
there's-
expect to meet battle here?
No, but there's a reason I need it. Can you... I don't know if you can do teleporting things. I don't know if you can do that.
I cannot. However,
And Gale was given a means of getting in contact with Mordenkainen.
Yes. Yes. It's a
Mhm.
little like sending stone, essentially.
Yeah. So Gale turns to the side for a second, still on the stairs, and briefly mutters something, and then turns back to Leo and extends a hand and says,
it should arrive.
It appears
moment.
in Gale's hand as he says
Oh.
this.
Very timely
It's
as always.
heavy.
okay, so, all right, hold on. Gale's,
Make
let's
me
see.
make me a strength saving throw.
That was exactly the plan. That is a critical
Hell
success from our
yeah.
boy Gale.
Gale able to fucking catch it. It's heavy. He falters for a second, but he's able to hold it up.
And he hefts it elegantly.
And he'll
And he hands it to
gently
Leo.
take it, and he'll like rummage through it for a moment, and nod and sigh and put it on his back. Go, okay, I'm ready now. And then he follows Gale up.
Gale offers him a hand specifically to
Gale,
lead him
he'll
up,
take Gale's hand.
to escort him. Yeah. He's cute. They hold hands. They walk up. All right. They go up the stairs, which are sturdy and they hold. They only creak a little bit under Leo's weight.
There's a little bit of breakage, but it's fine.
Gale fixes it. It works out. It's great.
Yeah.
So they reach the top of the frigid flight of steps and land on the surface of the earth moat, which is a wide, flat expanse of stone that's at least 100 feet across, so it feels very sturdy, considering they're suspended several hundred feet in the air. And it is also covered in lots and lots of ice. Very specific formations of ice. Leo can see probably about half of the platform at most with his dark vision.
Mm-hmm.
But the entire thing seems to be bedecked in an intricate garden of ice sculptures.
He's looking over it, and he looks at Gale, and he looks back at the thing, and he goes, "Is this what you've been working on?"
Part of it.
I have to apologize to Garcon.
Why?
So, I thought you'd been working on the banquet, and I was very mean to him. Because I may have pinned him against a wall and said if you fucked this up, I would hurt him because you've been working so hard on it. I need to apologize to him.
I was working on the banquet too.
Okay, good. Never
Garcon
mind,
had
I won't
actually been quite
apologize.
helpful. All right. If you don't see a need to, then it should be fine.
Nope.
He seemed to
if he was
be-
helping you with the if he was helping you with the banquet, then the threat was adequate.
Gale leads Leo a little bit further onto the platform. From the kind of center of this little clearing area, Leo can get a better view of some of the quote unquote sculptures in here. He can see much more clearly that some of these are familiar to him. There's roses and lilacs and magnolias, camellias, and all manner of carefully crafted crystalline flora in this pristine garden.
Gale sees him
Although
kneel next to some of the like ice roses, and he goes, "They're perfect. They're perfect."
A bit too perfect, actually.
No. These won't die. You know how many rose bushes I've grown that just die? They're perfect.
I'm glad you like them. I made them for you, after all.
He'll smile. Thank you.
Gale seems very excited. So he's visibly trying not to say everything that he's thinking because this little crazy man has a plan and he wants to adhere to the plan. So he's trying to refrain from exuberantly exploding
Yeah.
with all of his words. But he takes Leo's hand again. And at the speed he walks at, as he leads them past the frosty hedges, past an arbor-covered walkway, deeper into the garden, it makes it very clear that Gale is very excited.
Yeah, and Leo is
very
following
eager.
with the same excitement.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, so they head deeper into the garden, and they head to another paved clearing, surrounded by a wisteria arbor. But the wisteria is made of clear petals of ice, as thin as paper.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really beautiful covered walkway. And Gale will lead them to the center of this clearing through the walkway. And there's a bench and a functioning fountain that's as much made from ice as everything else in here. And this is the point at which Gale stops and releases Leo's arm. And then he comes around to him face to face. And he's trying very hard to look serious. But he can't help smiling up at Leo. And before Leo can even have a chance to look around properly, Gale grabs his hands again and says,
Sir Tavish, you have been asked to attend this audience, this ceremony of accolades today, to receive recognition for acts of chivalry that exceed the duty of the title of knight as afforded you by the royal family of Melvant. As Prince of the Gales, I wish to extend you the thanks of both the House of Melvant and of the realm. Please kneel.
And he does. He takes a knee.
It's not often that Leo gets to look at Gale's face from below. It's usually from above.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a bit of a reversal of heights. Although Leo's probably just barely below Gale's face.
Yeah, exactly. He's like at chest level because this man is a massive monster of man.
Yeah, yes, he's enormous. But Gale, still as enthusiastic as ever, looks down to Leo and says,
Today, it is my honor to award you a new title, that of Warden, the highest award our country can bestow upon one of its subjects. I'm sure you're aware, but this title is given to individuals who have exhibited extraordinary courage, exceptional altruism, and most of all, a willingness to be a sentry and a shield to the people, under even the most dire of circumstances.
and Gale, he pulls out a little box as he continues to speak.
You Leo, have led soldiers into battle, fought to protect the lives of allies of various stations. You have stood firm in the face of unjust actions from those above you in station, continuing to serve virtuously under undue constraints. You have saved my life countless times, even to the point of sacrificing your own. You have given of yourself so completely that I wield a blade forged by your very heart. I know of not one other individual who has shown such dedication, loyalty, and devotion to the crown in the history of Melvont. You have earned this honor over 100 times over.
And Gale pulls out the heart of the lover, the blade that Leo had made for him. And he gently taps the flat of the blade on the shoulders of his lover and says,
I now dub thee, Sir Leonidas Alaric Tavish, Gale Warden of Melvont. You may now rise.
He rises and nods, and takes in like a deep breath and goes, "You know, I was worried. Not anymore, but I was.
Worried about what?
Don't know. Just, you were in a remote place without me, and I just didn't know what was going on, so I was worried."
Well, speaking of a remote to a place, would you lean down for me, actually? I cannot quite, just,
and Gale like motions for Leo to lean down
Yeah.
for him. Okay, yeah. So Gale will take out something from the little box he was holding, and he will get up on his tippy toes to clasp it around Leo's neck. This would probably involve getting very close, physically. So it's basically a hug.
Yeah.
Very close faces. But Gale puts a necklace around his neck, and he holds onto the pendant for a couple of moments so that Leo can see it clearly. The medallion itself is made of an unusual silvery metal. I'm not sure if Leo would ever have seen any of it before, but on one side it has a symbol of Corlone set with moonstones, and on the other side it has an elaborate gold inlay of the shape of a constellation. A constellation that Leo would know, because it's the Leonin constellation, more colloquially known as Leo.
Leo just smiles. You're
It's,
you know that?
yes, Una stella per la mia stella, a star for my star. Although it is actually made of star metal as well, so double stars.
Star metal?
Yes, it is.
I see. He goes to say something, and like his cheeks kind of puff out like he had air in them, and he just kind of it's very expensive. It's very expensive.
Not as valuable as you.
He'll you see him shrug his backpack off his shoulder, and he reaches into it. And
so
then,
as he shrugs, I think, and he goes to like pull his backpack off and stuff, that would pull the pendant off of Gale's hand, and it would land against Leo's shirt.
Yeah, the
Torso?
breastplate of his armor, because he almost always wears it.
All right, yeah. So as soon as it touches his armor, there's a sudden burst of dazzling light as the entire cavern begins to glow. So Leo goes to set things down, and suddenly dancing lights spring up from the ground all around the entire garden and shoot into the air above, where they explode into showers of gorgeous, dazzling sparks, leaving behind brilliant constellations that hover above the garden, spangling the entire cavern like the night sky. And the constellations are, of course, accurate, so the Leonin constellation is there as well. And each mote of light reflects in the ice creations below, making it all sparkle like diamonds.
So Leo had was going shrugging his backpack to the left arm, and he was gonna catch the handle so he could go through it, but his hand falters and he drops it. And his mouth is kind of agape, and then very suddenly he scoops the bag back up and he's, shit, okay, gotta make sure it didn't break. And he opens the bag and he nods and he goes, okay, I'll do this in a minute. I have to have this out here and not on my back when I do it. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, my lord. Continue.
You didn't interrupt me. Not especially. I just, what do you think? You think I,
magnificent.
recreated it accurately?
It's magnificent.
Yeah.
There's
Gestures,
little
as he says that,
words
actually
can do to describe how
Leo notices something.
Mhm.
Leo would recognize the entire garden now that he can see it. He would recognize it as being familiar. He'd know this place anywhere.
it's home.
Yeah. Leo's father was the groundskeeper of Melvant, as well as advisor in the palace, but he would know this landscape intimately well.
Yeah.
And because of that, he would be able to tell that every plant, every bench, fountain, tree, shrub, everything is in its proper place in the garden, recreated with painstaking icy detail. And right behind where Gale stands in front of him, beside his bag, Leo can see a nostalgic footpath winding through the bushes and the trees that he would always take when he was a child, when he was going to meet his friend. And this whole time,
it is rare. It is rare to see Leo cry. Gale might not even know that he physically can, but it's this gold aura of it's liquid, and it has the consistency of oil or blood, but it just runs from the sides of his eyes.
Yeah, so standing there in the light of the stars that Gale has made, surrounded by plants made of ice that Gale created for him, beside a recreation of their bench, their fountain, under their tree. Gale takes his hand and looks up to him gently.
What do you think? Close enough?
It's perfect.
I can think of one thing that would make it a little bit more perfect.
And what's that?
I'm so glad that Leo asked that. And Gale is too. Gale looks very excited as he casts a spell on himself. He casts Levitate. And he boosts himself up a couple of inches. More like 8 to 12 inches.
Yeah, Leo's a lot bigger than you.
Yeah. And he scoots himself around, using Leo as an anchor because Levitate can make you kind of just drift. And with his hands gently wrapped around Leo's shoulders and caressing his cheek and head and such, Gale gets in close. And he looks at Leo with the glow of the stars and the garden that he made for him in his eyes as he gazes with unwavering tenderness at Leo. And Gale pauses as he approaches, and he asks,
Leo, may I kiss you?
Of course. Just 1 second. He wipes the like oily tears off of his face.
Gale would cast one of his spells. He would cast Pocket Square and create a handkerchief for Leo.
He takes it and he just wipes it off and he goes, "Thank you. I wouldn't have wanted to. This stuff's hard to get off clothes.
I don't care. You can stain whatever you like. I just want to be close to you.
And he doesn't wait for Gale to kiss him. He grabs him by the collar and just pulls him in.
Yeah, so right in the middle of another word, Leo interrupts, and they kiss for the first time.
Yeah.
They close the last few inches, and it's so cute. They're so cute. I love them so much.
And as I think it's Leo that breaks the kiss, and and he like takes a deep breath, and Gale's been giving him a dowry for like a hot second now, but he goes, "Now, part of me wants to steal your moment because I did something too during my time when I was supposed to be training the troops, but I'm gonna let you go first."
First, yes, right. Sorry. Everything's tingly. Give me a moment. That was exhilarating, I think is the right word.
And Gale takes several moments to visibly collect himself because he's grinning like an idiot.
Gale can see that Leo is like hand in his bag on something. Doesn't want to pull it out until Gale has, finished what he was doing.
Okay. Yeah, so after a few moments, Gale realizes, oh shoot, I'm drifting up continuously, and
he's got the other hand on Gale. Like,
yeah,
he's making sure Gale is anchored.
Yeah, so he releases the spell, he drops it, and falls back down to earth. And as the reminder of what he came there to do sinks in, and that Leo knows what's coming and is waiting for it, he looks nervous. Even more nervous than when he was facing down the prospect of a gruesome, painful death, as is typical in the High Sun games.
Yeah.
He takes a step away.
Leo just
takes a few deep breaths.
Would you rather I go first?
No, I just needed a moment. Thank you. But I don't. Did you answer my question about what you think of the garden?
It's perfect.
I can't recall. Okay, right. Yes, my mind was temporarily wiped entirely blank.
You're adorable when you're flustered.
I could say the same to you. Right. So I chose this part of the gardens very specifically. I know we spend much of our time here, but you may or may not recall that this right here is where we first met.
And Gale takes a seat on the bench and pats on it, indicating for Leo to sit.
Leo will kind of walk over and sit. His hand's still kind of one hand on the bag, one hand in it, but he's kind of dropped what he had in his hand. He goes, "I remember it like it was yesterday. It's hard to forget. It's hard to forget the dorky little smile that you had that day."
I imagine it was also hard to forget the I was sitting right here reading a book, and you came out of nowhere and asked me what I was reading, and startled me so badly that I fell right into the fountain.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yes, you laughed quite heartily back then. I can only imagine how silly it must have seemed.
It was pretty funny.
But then, after laughing, you offered me your hand, and I took it. we'd only just met, and you were so sweet and compassionate and kind, just as you always have been,
Yeah?
just as you still are.
You deserve sweet and compassionate, Gale. I don't know what anyone else tells you, but you deserve sweet and compassionate.
And you deserve this.
And Gale takes to one knee in front of the bench. Leo knows what's coming.
Yeah, Leo knows
Anyone
exactly what's
would
coming.
recognize this. Yeah. Gale, he reaches out a hand towards Leo. He doesn't hold a ring or a cloak or anything like that. It's just his hand, and Leo would notice that it's shaking a little.
So
Leo knows Gale.
at this point, it is when Leo pulls what he had in the bag out.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a beautiful jewel-encrusted dagger. It's in a scabbard,
Oh.
and it's very obviously, Gale can see that the scabbard and what little of the blade is exposed and visible is made of star metal. And he places it in Gale's hand, and he takes his hands and wraps it around and goes, "You go first. Then I'll explain the knife."
To go first, I'm going to hold this with my other hand, because the hand is,
It's
metaphor.
It's a Myth-Draenor thing. That's why the knife is here.
Yes.
It's a thing from my homeland. So, yes, you can, but you're gonna end up holding it in this one again anyway.
Okay, all right. One thing, then the next. I practiced this. Let me finish, please.
Okay.
I had to practice. So
He'll gently move the knife from one of Gale's hands and hold it down for the other one to grab.
Gale will grab it with his other hand. And, Leo knows Gale very well. And he knows when he's being honest. He knows when he's scared. And right now, Gale is vulnerable and nervous, more so than if he were just going to say the formal words to match a proposal that's already been accepted. But when the dagger is moved to his other hand, he takes a deep breath and he steels himself. He looks determined, and he reaches out his offered hand again and looks Leo dead in the eyes.
Leo takes it.
Gale smiles, looks down at their hands, and then looks up.
Leonidas, Larrick Tavish, you're always doing what I don't expect. But I love you. I think maybe I always have, so I am here now. The same that you did for me when we were children, offering you my hand. And I do not have to hope that you will take it, because you have already accepted. But I will still ask, Leo, will you marry me?
Yes, I will. Of course I will. You absolute, beautiful, wonderful nerd.
I think at that, Gale will rise up off of his knees just a little bit to peck him on the cheek again. And then he'll take a big, big, big sighing breath and just say,
All right. That was mine done. You had a thing you wished to say. Shall I
need the
continue
knife.
kneeling?
Yeah,
Knife, okay.
I need the knife.
all right. Gale hands it over.
And he puts it in the other hand and he goes, "This knife I crafted myself. It is made of star metal, which is found only in two places. One of them being my homeland, the other one, the hills near here that obviously you probably got this from, and he'll gesture to the amulet. I had to source mine from there too, because Mithranor's a while away from here. In my homeland,
Great minds think alike.
in my homeland, it is tradition to give, much like it is in Melvond, to give your love a cloak to ask them to marry you. In my homeland, you give a handmade weapon. I was going to propose first.
You have already.
I know. I was going to do it again.
You did propose first. It is not a race.
I am aware. My proclamations of love to you are small and quiet. But they
I apologize
mean...
if
No.
My-
Do not apologize. Do not apologize.
I did try to keep it on.
Do not apologize. This was perfect.
I'm
I
glad you
may-
think so.
I may say that I don't like grandeur and grand gestures. However, public grand gestures are
Yes,
what
I did.
like. This is perfect. This is
Minimize the publicity of it all.
This is amazing. And you facilitated me to scare the shit out of my mother, which made it all better, even better.
Oh, yes. I suppose she wouldn't have known that Solana was.
A dragon.
In-
Yes, it was hilarious.
Yes.
It was hilarious.
I'm glad that could entertain you.
But I want you to keep this. And he'll kind of gently push the dagger a little farther. Kind of move the dagger forward toward Gale.
Mhm.
If you wield it in your offhand when wielding your rapier, it can deflect a lethal blow.
Oh.
It will magically move you to deflect something that would kill you.
How thoughtful. I'm very concerned about my impending doom.
It's my job. It's also my greatest pleasure to protect you in any way I can.
Well, I accept both the sentiment and the object itself, and your second proposal.
And he laughs. And he goes, "These things sometimes slip the mind when we go through all the things that we've gone through.
Grand romantic gestures.
My own grand romantic gestures. My mind whirls so quickly. It's the unfortunate circumstance of being an automaton, essentially. But
I don't think that's a downside.
no, it's not. All the more time to think of poetry that pales in comparison to yours.
I would still enjoy hearing it,
Maybe
even
one
if it
day.
was the most dreadful, terrible, unrhyming, asynchronous, without scheme or thought even, just pure unfiltered free verse. I would still enjoy it.
Maybe one day when I'm a little more confident in it.
Well, we have all the time needed.
Exactly. And he will once again grab Gale by the collar and pull him
Uh-huh.
up into a kiss before letting him back down.
When he's let back down, I think Gale would stagger.
Can I stop kneeling now? I don't know when
Yes,
I'm
get
supposed
up.
to stop. Okay.
Technically, you
He
were
gets
supposed
up.
to stand up when I kissed you, but you just kind of didn't.
I've only done this once before, and it was Ruthrika, and we were both sitting, and she doesn't like
I get it.
any of that. You didn't like any of that either. So I did my level best to.
You did amazing, love.
Thank you. I'm honest, I'd hoped to accomplish all of this on my own for you, but I could not have done it without help.
Well, sometimes. And one, I will congratulate you. You never ask for help, and I'm very proud of you for that. But sometimes we need help.
Well, it was for you, and if I could not do it myself, then I needed to find someone who could help. So, I mean, I did most of it. I really did. I've been doing a lot of spell casting. You saw the stairs I made.
Yes,
just-
I did. Are you okay? Because I know
Yes.
spellcasting takes a lot out of you when you run out.
I mean, I have perhaps been draining those reserves more thoroughly, more frequently than usual, but it's nothing I can't handle, and I've been enjoying doing this. It's been a real test of my magical capabilities.
As long as you know that you are within your own boundaries and own limits, I will support it.
I still have a couple of good spells left in me. In fact, I have a couple still planned in theory, but regardless, for the last week I've unfortunately been unable to enjoy your presence so much, but I do hope my presence have somewhat made up for that.
Your presents were great. I loved each and every one of them.
I think Gale just looks down wordlessly and fondly at the dagger that he'd just been given. And up until this point, he hasn't opened it or unsheathed or anything. So I think he finally realizes, oh yeah, this is mine now. I can look at it. So
When
I think
takes it
he
out-
pulls it out.
When he takes it out, he notices there are these beautiful engravings, and at first
Mhm.
glance they look like runes, but when you
Mhm.
look at them more intricately, this is basically carvings, engravings of great deeds Gale has done throughout his life.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay, yeah, that Gale is utterly engrossed by that, and he starts reading intently, and he loses track of what Leo's saying because he's so caught up in what he made.
Mm-hmm.
He
It almost looks like
blinked
Damascus on
Uh-huh.
on the blade. Like all the engravings almost look like Damascus on the blade.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
And then the hilt itself is made of what feels like ivory with
Mhm.
rubies in it that are the same color as
Mhm.
Gale's skin.
That's really cute. Okay, yeah. So several long moments that Gale is just looking at every inch of this dagger, utterly captivated by it. And then after a few moments, he realizes, oh shit, I've just been staring at this dagger for several long moments and haven't said anything about it. And so he looks up with a earnest look in his face and he says to Leo,
You made this?
With my well, I had a chisel, but chisel, a hammer, and longbow to hunt the boar that I got the ivory from.
With the precision of your own hands?
Yes.
You made this? This is incredible.
I am much better with a chisel than I am with a pen.
Thank you.
It was
It's
a great pleasure.
Beautiful. How long have you been making this?
Since we got to Neverwinter, I do believe.
That's so great. Wait, since we got to Neverwinter?
Mm-hmm. I couldn't express my love for you outwardly, so I did that.
Oh. I don't know what to say. You know how rare that is. I don't know what to say.
I love you. Is what comes to mind for me.
Yes, I love you. I do.
I know.
I had not said it up until today, but I do.
I know. If you flip it over, I just finished the back of it.
Gale will do so, and he'll look.
And at the very end is the event of Gale cutting off Bargle's hand. So every important accomplishment I have been there for. Which is all of them.
All of the most important ones. And I hope that you will be there for all of them.
I plan on it.
I look forward to spending the rest of my life with you.
I look forward to spending the rest of mine with you. I just have to find a way to make you immortal.
Immortality. It seems a bit daunting.
Yes, but if you don't have it, then I just get to spend the rest of your life with you. 'Cause I can't die.
I suppose that's true. I had not thought of that.
Don't worry, we'll figure it out.
We've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Although, I forgot to mention before,
Time.
but
And he'll
Time?
like flip his wrist over, and this would be the first time Gale sees the watch.
Uh-huh.
Yep, we've got time. It's fine.
I think Gale just blinks, and then he like leans over a little bit so that he can look at Leo's wrist as he's setting it back by his side.
Yep. He goes. He kind of moves it over so Gale can look at it,
Gale will look closely at it.
and he lights up the joints of his wrist, and it's like a little sun. It's a sundial. It's magically linked to the moon and sun. So when I light up,
fascinating.
it shows me what time it is. We have 2 hours before the banquet.
2 hours. Oh, 2 hours. That is cutting things short. Okay, all right. So we do not have Solana to take us back, but if you'd like, we can walk around the gardens at least a little bit more. Or we can head over now. It's your choice.
I don't mind being late if you don't.
I don't mind one bit. Not as long as you're with me.
Good. Then we'll be fashionable. 'Cause it's fashionable to be late, according to your sister.
Yes, my sister is often late.
Yes.
More than fashionably so.
I mean, according to her, she's the most fashionable one because she's always late.
Well, I'd argue Ken is much more fashionable.
Yes, just don't say that in front of Mari's wife. She'll throw us off the side of the Moonstone Mask.
Goodness, you're correct.
That woman terrifies me.
Yep. Well, unfortunately, the banquet is there
Oh, I know.
this evening.
I know. She scares me because I've never met a single person who didn't need to be magically enhanced to lift me other than her. And Minsk. But Minsk is... I don't know what Minsk's deal is.
I've never quite gotten that either. He seems to have rather a lot of political power, considering his best friend is a squirrel.
Hamster.
Hamster?
Yes, Boo is a hamster.
Oh. I thought we some kind of regional variant. I suppose not. Oh, that's
So according
somehow stranger.
According to, and he'll kind of take out this little book, and it's got the Harper symbol on it. He goes, according to this, Boo is a miniature giant space hamster.
Miniature giant.
Yes,
So a regular sized
hamster.
space. Okay.
And he kind of flips a page and shows Gale a rendering of a regular sized space hamster, which is they're as big as bears. This is what a regular space hamster looks like, and this is what.
Oh.
And this is Boo. He's been miniaturized. We don't know how it happened. He won't. Minsk won't tell us. I think only Jahira knows that.
I suppose some things can remain a mystery.
Yes. I don't know where the giant ones are, and I don't want to meet one.
Neither would I.
He's like smiling because he's enjoying the bit.
Yeah. Okay. So, Gale has made this rather large garden, the majority of which is the clearing that they're in, surrounded by the hedges, with the fountain, the bench, the tree, and the stars above. So there's not really a lot to walk around. There's a few other small sections, but it's all mainly this one section, which incidentally was the section of the gardens closest to Gale's room as a kid.
Yeah.
So they can walk around a little bit.
As they kind of walk near the fountain, make a perception check from Gale.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I can do that. Perception. That's a solid 9.
Make a dexterity saving throw from Gale.
Awesome. Yeah, we love that. 16?
Gale is tripped, almost stumbles into the fountain, and Leo's just kind of like got his hands behind his back, whistling, looking away.
So Gale manages to catch himself then?
Yeah, he doesn't fall in quite, almost, damn near it, but not quite.
Okay, I think Gale kind of scoffs a little bit, like,
Are you trying to get me to fall in again?
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do anything.
Leo, there's no one else here.
You tripped over a twig. I don't know. It wasn't me.
I know every inch of this place. I created it.
He's got this massive, like, grin on his face.
There was no twig.
Of course I was trying to trip you in there. It would have been funny.
And have me be soaking wet for the banquet.
I mean, you have prestidigitation. It would have been fine.
It's cold in here, Leo.
Oh, yeah. That would have been...
I would have frozen.
You have the cloak of warming. You'll smile.
Always doing things I don't expect.
That is what you've come to know me for.
I hope to be able to know all of you.
One day. One day you will. One day we have to go visit the carnival.
Yes, visit your mother.
No, not my mother. The carnival. There's a difference.
Is your mother not...
Oh, she runs it.
Okay.
She runs the carnival, but there's more to the carnival than just my mother.
I suppose we shall have to make a visit at some point, especially if she intends to bring it to the wedding.
Yes.
I'd rather know what we're getting ourselves into.
Well, I'm assuming she's going to send Mr. Witch and Mr. Light to deal with that part. Because she's going to be front.
The eponymous Witch and Light, I assume.
Yes. And then she's going to be front and center, crying her eyes out. You know, typical mom stuff. She does sometimes do typical mom things when she's not with her. Oh God, does that mean he'll be there too?
I'm going to not give her a +1.
Good.
I can do that.
Thank you.
I have executive power.
Thank you.
Yes. No, I don't think any of us want to see that individual there at all. Ever.
Depends on the individual, but yeah, no.
No. Well, I suppose it does depend. But no, any associate of Tasha's is, unfortunately, I apologize, dubious at best.
My father is rolling in his grave to think you think of him as dubious.
Associate, not, I suppose, people that she associates with for
Now.
business as well as.
Yes.
Yes.
I
do hear she used to be different back in the day.
Yes. It's fine. Okay. My father loved you to death. And if he were still here, he would probably be jumping for joy that we're getting married.
Well, I suppose we can only hope that he will. I suppose we can hope the same for my parents.
So, your parents, they're
Yes.
technically just encased in stone, correct?
With no hope of being revived, yes.
I see. What if they could be?
If they could be, then I suppose the question of succession would no longer be so contentious.
Would you want them to be?
I don't know. I never really knew them.
Well, I've been... Again, Merritt never let me talk about my feelings toward you, but I've been thinking of gifts to give you for decades now. I've had plenty of time. And he'll kind of pull out a small notebook that is... It just says bestiary on the front of it. And he turns to the page it's gorgons. Supposedly, the blood of these beasts can cure even the longest petrifications.
If the only issue at hand is petrification, yes.
Yeah. I don't know if that's the case. I've never interacted with the queens.
You would have to speak with High Warden Ken about the details.
I will, because I should inform you. That's the other thing that I was supposed to talk to you about. He's coming.
When?
The banquet.
Ooh. Oh, tonight.
Tonight.
Ken is coming here to the banquet tonight, unannounced.
Yes.
Spontaneously.
Kind of announced. I wasn't supposed to tell you, according to him. He can shove it. So act surprised.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes, surprised. That is all I will be.
I know you're going to be incredibly stressed. But act surprised, at least, because I wasn't supposed to tell you. But
the appearance of the High Warden in another country does complicate things by several orders of magnitude.
He's coming to congratulate us on our engagement and your engagement, Jamaica.
And I suppose that is almost certainly not all he is here for.
Mostly from what he told me, it was to check on you, congratulate us, and say hello to Lady Neverember. And to eat.
Yes. He has a way of obfuscating his true intent at times.
Great. More of the Melvaunt royal family I cannot trust.
He's at least... He does tend to have better intentions than Merritt does. You know, he did a lot for me when I was younger. So I, unfortunately, do trust him to some extent.
That is all I can hope, is that he has better intentions than Merritt.
He does. It should be fine. We should probably not be late, though.
If he makes you uncomfortable, I will beat him about the face with a stick.
Do not beat the High Warden of Melvaunt with the stick about the face. You may now be Warden of the Gales. However, that is inadvisable. Your position does not grant you immunity.
Listen, I can get him with I can invite him to spar with me, and then you know those big foam sticks that we use to spar with? I can just beat him in the face with those. It'll be fine. It'll be a war game.
A spar with Merritt will not go the way you think it will.
I'm talking about Ken.
Ken. Sorry, yes.
No, a spar with Merritt,
no,
I know I would lose.
With Ken, you would also lose.
I'm aware. technically,
Yes.
he can lock my entire body up with magic.
He would not even have to use magic.
I'm aware. Trust me,
Mhm.
I'm aware. I lashed out at him when I was a boy. It was not a fun time. That's how I figured out he could just seize the entire mechanism.
No, he wouldn't have to do anything to you to be. He's very strong. He does not look it. He intends it that way.
I see. He was very gentle when repairing me.
Yes, he can be. But he
had the
does
hands
not
of
carry mace for no reason.
He had the hands of a seamstress. I would not have
He-
estimated him to be powerful
Well,
athletically.
that is said by someone who wields many weapons and yet has also crafted something so intricate and fine as this.
And Gale holds up the dagger.
Okay. But those are the hands of a smith. But I will
Still.
believe you. If you say he is strong, then he is strong. Your word is everything to me.
There are a great number of undead beings who are quite large and strong, and I once watched Ken lay one out flat. Unarmed.
I see. That's terrifying.
Yes, it is.
Didn't he
My
once
siblings are
ra-
all terrifying.
Didn't he once raise an army so large it made Zaz Tam look weak?
Yes, that was for his proposal to his husband. Be grateful I did not do anything so noticeable.
Thank you. No, that sounds terrifying.
It was terrifying for the citizens as well.
He's like, puts a hand over his mouth. He's like, that would his poor husband.
His husband, indeed. At least they are happy now.
Yes. No. Absolutely. I'm positive.
Though, if I dare say it, not as happy as you have already made me.
And he like cracks a grin and he goes, I love you, you dork. Let's go see your brother and get this banquet over with. I made sure that they had your favorite kind of cake there, but also they're going to have cheesecake, which I haven't had cheesecake since we left Melvant, and I want it. And there's going to be creme brulee.
The taste of home is always welcome.
Exactly.
You seem very excited.
I am. I may or may not have snuck pretty much all of my favorite foods into this banquet.
It did not go unnoticed. I ensured that they were all approved.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. I was
also
hoping
may
to have...
I also may have chucked a large bottle of that Mountain Dew stuff at the back of your cousin's head. He caught it.
Of course you did. Well, we will see him and them and Solana and everyone else and Ken and shortly.
I wonder
I
how Ken is
was
going
hoping-
to react to Charybdis after technically a blatant act of war.
I am hoping to have mollified that. Fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed. Now, and he'll like scoop Gale up. I'm going to
Oh.
carry you out of this place.
You, there's not really a very accessible exit by foot. I was hoping to have time to walk for your comfort. But we may not have that luxury. We can certainly exit via the
Obelisk, yes?
yes, that
Point me in the
however, all right.
Gale, he's gotten kind of like used to being carried, but it's still like warms the cockles of his heart every time. It still makes him a little bit giddy.
Leo knows this, and that's why he does it.
Yeah. So Gale will direct them to the obelisk, and they can leave the beautiful garden. But as they start walking down these stairs, Gale will tap at the pendant that's now around Leo's neck, and will say,
I meant to tell you when I handed this to you, but you kind of did something unexpected. But this will allow you to re-enter this garden whenever you like.
Single golden tear runs down his cheek. Thank you. I miss home greatly.
Gale will wipe away the tear, and then.
So I have as much as this is a very touching scene. Gale is an inquisitive little nuisance.
Yes, he is.
In a lovingly.
Uh-huh.
Does he examine what the tear is made of? Because it does have the consistency of like oil or blood.
Yeah, so like he wipes it away with a thumb, and then realizing the consistency, kind of rubs it between his fingers, and looks at it.
Roll Arcana.
Cool. Yeah. 23.
It is said that the blood of Celestials glows. That's what this is.
Yeah. Gale started to say something and then fell quiet, realizing what was on his hands.
So this is kind of the first showing to Gale, because Leo didn't. It was a while back. It's hard for Gale to kind of remember. Leo was an Aasimar. This is probably the first time Gale realizes it.
Oh. Okay. All right, so Gale thinks for several long moments. He thinks about what he knows about Tasha and what he knows about Leo's dad. And then, kind of out of nowhere, as they reach the bottom of the stairs, he says,
Leo, who was your father?
His name was...
I know his name.
Yes.
Who was he?
Do you know Pelor?
Yes, I know of Pelor.
His great-grandson.
A grandson of...
Sun god.
Pelor.
Yes. It's what
the sun father
brought my mother interest in him.
Okay. So both of my fiancés
Are technically
divine.
demigods.
What unique fortune
Yes.
that has brought two beings of the divine to be so enamored with a devil.
Well, you're a charming devil. That's what it is.
Oh, Mari says the same thing.
Exactly. She's right. When have you ever known her to not be right?
That's fair enough, I suppose. Got me weeping from laughter. Goodness. All right. So that's an interesting revelation to end the day with, I suppose.
Now I have a question. Did you pick that up from my blood? From the tears?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I try not to
Why?
cry in front of you. For that exact reason. I no longer have
Gale
my
looks up
wings.
quizzically.
I, unlike Rika, no longer have my wings. So it would have been very difficult for anyone to discern that I am an Aasimar, technically.
Why keep it secret?
A request from my great great-great-grandfather.
Why would he?
We are... Descendants of Pelor are often targeted. He doesn't want to see me come to any more harm than I put myself in.
Well, he's always been known as gentle and good-hearted, so if he has asked you to keep it to yourself, then
It's more of a... He thinks that it will put me in danger, not that I'm not already in danger with the life I've chosen. I'm an adventurer. I had planned to be a knight even before I fell from that tree. Which, man, was it embarrassing that I fell with wings.
I do not recall much from when I was that young. I suppose head trauma will do that to you.
Yes.
But I feel silly for not noticing or
It's-
remembering.
It's okay. It's okay. I technically wore a bind on them so that you didn't think I was weird.
So I wouldn't think you were weird.
Yes.
I was a shut-in of a prince, a little child who'd never socialized with anyone in his life.
Exactly. I didn't want to scare you off with big, fluey wings.
You could never scare me.
Good.
Except if you put yourself in danger.
Cannot guarantee that I won't.
Mm-hmm.
Grandfather will like you, I think. He'll pat Gale on the cheek, putting even more implications on marrying Leo.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Okay.
they exit the mountain through the obelisk.
Yeah. So Gale has to fiddle with it a little bit because he was able to ask Mordenkainen to set it up so that they could arrive closer to Neverwinter than just the side of the mountain.
Yeah, there are 2 obelisks, 3 technically, one in the mountain, one on the side of the mountain, and then one just outside of Neverwinter.
Yeah. So that's where they land, and Gale sort of pats Leo and indicates down, please.
Yeah, he puts you down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So Gale reluctantly gets down from his lover's arms. Most reluctantly. He seems very sad about it. However, he pulls out a spell book and starts rifling through the pages a little bit and starts saying,
We are close to the city now, but we need to we're already going to be late. Sorry.
He feels like a gentle squeeze on his shoulder, like a partner that rubs your shoulders to kind of try and get you to relax. It's okay. Take your time.
Thank you. I was hoping to have time to just walk over for your comfort, but I do not think we have that luxury.
and he pulls out a feather, and with the flick of his wrist, he turns into a swirl of magic, and he looks kind of hesitantly at Leo before asking,
I know you've had unfortunate run-ins with heights in the past, but will you trust me?
With everything that I am.
I won't let you fall this time, so hold on tight.
And he does. It is probably tighter than Gale expected.
yeah. So Gale, they take each other's hands, and they both feel weightless because Gale has upcast fly
Oh, phenomenal.
to 4th level on them both. And before taking off into the sky, Gale floats himself up to about eye height with Leo once again. And he leans in very close again, like before, and like looks at Leo, waiting for like nonverbal, unspoken permission, and
There's a slight
nonverbal
nod.
request. Okay, yeah. And then Gale will kiss him briefly as they start to ascend from the ground, just a little bit slowly.
Gale can
And then
see for a second there's fear,
Mhm.
and then it's this revelation of, oh, I can fly again.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
Gale
so-
feels Leo pull him in, and then
Mhm.
takes off.
All right. Okay. Yeah, Gale rolls with it. He's
And
happy
he
that
leans
Leo's
in
excited for
and
this.
whispers into Gale's ear, point
Mhm.
me in a direction.
Moonstone mask. Up there. Big thing in the sky. Can't miss it.
He nods and he goes, hold on tight. And he will take off.
As they fly across the city of Neverwinter, the events that I described for the rest of the party before they arrived at the banquet occur. So the floor of the entire city, the cobblestones of the streets being dazzled with stars, everywhere being bedecked with greenery and plants and wisteria and roses. And the fireworks, which have already begun by the time they get halfway across the city. So they have to fly a little bit carefully because they're a little bit late, but they both make it safely to the banquet and they can land wherever they like.
Yeah, it's front and
And-
center in the courtyard of the Moonstone Mask.
Gale will quickly unwrist pocket his little doublet vest thing and put it on very quickly. Something just with toggles, easy for him to put on himself real fast.
Leo does
And,
kind of fuss and help you get everything in.
But yeah, they can enter the banquet now. Newly, freshly engaged properly this time.
Phenomenal.
So the banquet, I believe we already sort of laid out most of how the banquet went.
Yes.
So they've had a wonderful evening. And they cap it off with a wonderful dinner. And many congratulations from people both near and wide on their engagement.
And Leo eating way more sweets than Gale's probably ever seen him eat.
Yeah, probably about half of his body weight, which is saying something.
Which is a lot, yeah.
Yeah, and eventually Gale's, I think we discussed Gale being peeled away by his brother or something to chat, and then I believe this is the end of my notes. So if you would like for anything else to happen before they conclude the day and return to the keep and have a wonderful night of rest before heading out in the morning, where they snuggle in Leo's observatory under the stars, because of course
I think
you can.
I think it's just as the banquet kind of winds down. It's not Leo, but Tasha. Gale is eating. Leo's gone for a second portion. But there's a spell that you can target a massive room full of people with. And only the people whom you choose not to do this to are not affected. Tasha casts Time Stop.
She casts Time Stop.
The whole room stops except for Gale and Tasha.
Great. Oh, that's interesting.
She'll kind of come over, she'll sit next to Gale. She's got a creme brulee in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
Mithrin Gale.
Gale's nervous.
She's kind of, it's the informal greeting of Mithrin Gale, and like the soft bow.
Yes, of course. You clearly have something in mind to discuss. I'm unsure how to properly address you,
Mother-in-law.
Madame. Well, not yet, but if that is what you would like, right?
Soon, anyway. You can just call me Igwil for now. That is the persona in which I am taking for the moment.
Very
Igwil,
well, then.
specifically, Gale would know this because he's studied. That's her I will kill you persona.
Great.
That is the great
Great,
witch who wrote the Demonomicon. Igwil.
Cool. That makes Gale feel so comfortable and normal about the situation. And if we were tracking stress for this right now, Gale would be taking stress.
She just kind of slowly eats her creme brulee and she goes, "My son loves you."
Gale has stopped eating.
She looks at Gale and goes, "You don't have to stop
Mhm.
on my behalf."
I wish to be ready to respond in a timely manner should you have anything to say, and my appetite has suddenly found itself unsettled.
I am quite unsettling.
I believe the time stop had a bit more to do with that than your presence alone.
I know. My son loves you very much.
And I him.
I trust him. He may not trust me, but I trust him to make the correct decisions. If you hurt him, if my son has his heart broken by you, Melvant will not be the only thing to burn. But goodness will I enjoy burning Melvant. He
And I
loves you.
suppose I shall just have to take as good care of it as he has taken care of me.
Exactly. And that is what I expect of you, because from what I have observed, you have. Your
I endeavour
brothers
to do better now.
are not the only ones who scry on my son. Merit needs to be glad that I owe Ken a favor.
You owe Ken a favor.
Mm-hmm. I do. I owe Ken a favor.
I will not ask further questions.
He freed me from Graz years and years ago.
Oh.
Your brother is quite the kind soul.
That he is.
And I believe you to be as well. A gift of dowry from me to you. And if Gale doesn't already know this spell, she hands him a scroll of Tasha's hideous laughter.
He does, I think. Hold on, let me check. What level is Tasha's hideous laughter? I believe it's second or third.
It's one of those.
Hold on. Let me.
I think it's just hideous
pull it up.
laughter in 2024.
Let me look up what level it is. First level. Okay, that's why I couldn't find it, because it's first level.
Yeah.
Yes, he does have it because of Bargle's spell book.
Yeah. And she hands it to him and goes, "Even if you already know this spell, this one's a little stronger than you might expect it. This is an upcast 5th level Tasha's Hideous Laughter scroll. Made by Tasha herself."
I will ensure that it is put to adequate use. Thank you.
I expect it'll be more than adequate in your hands, little wizard.
I do my best.
I will not lie to you, Mithrin Gale. I am quite impressed with you.
You are?
Yes, I've seen your escapades, and you killed that little shit Bargle.
Yes, I did.
That was quite a feat.
The second time. I was not the one who killed him the first time.
Yes, but you did cut his fucking head from his shoulders, which guaranteed he didn't come back.
And then I ensured that he was burned.
Exactly.
Make extra sure.
Exactly. You killed that little shit permanently. It was wonderful, and then you stole his spellbook. It was magnificent.
I asked for permission. I didn't steal anything.
Well, you know what I mean. When a wizard kills another one and takes his spellbook, you get it. He lost a wizard's duel.
Reappropriated.
He lost a wizard's duel. He gets the consequences.
Yep, that is typically how things go, I suppose. Yes,
Exactly, and you won. Be proud of that.
Thank you.
And you can see that the tone is very jovial at the moment. Like, despite the time stop, but despite the fact that she is currently in her more murdery persona, she is very jovial in this moment.
Yeah, Gale's still nervous, but he accepts the compliment for what it is. And, like, he feels a little bit better, a little bit less nervous about the situation. But not much. A little bit.
Now, I will warn you, you have one more surprise visitor before I leave.
Is it someone other than my brother?
Yes. Has Leo told you about his, the other side of the family?
Briefly, he mentioned something about a predecessor to his father that might have been
A god?
interesting. Yes, that was
That's why
rather
I had to
unique
cast a
revelation.
time stop, because if I don't listen to the old man, he gets angry, and the wrath of the sun's not something I'm willing to put on myself, you know?
That is extraordinarily fair. That makes much more sense.
So, I will leave you to deal with the sun. Have a wonderful night. And she'll, like, scuttle off as this older gentleman sits down on the other side of you. He's this older man with, like, long, like, brown hair, big brown beard. Like, you know the classic Santa Claus face?
Uh-huh.
That's what Pelor looks like. He
Cool,
looks like
yeah.
Santa.
Gale stands up and bows.
Oh, sit down.
Of course, my
I'm-
lord. Hello.
Yes. Royals in their pleasantries. Sit.
He will sit.
Please, eat. I'm going to eat. I haven't had a good meal in months.
Well, there is.
Peller's got
if-
this, like, lobster bisque in front of him. Love
Of
this
course.
stuff. I love this
Yeah.
stuff.
Gale will quietly eat a meal in the company of a god.
No, Melvant has the best lobster.
Yes, it is.
Is this
one of our-
imported?
Yes, actually, it is.
Fantastic. He'll eat, and he kind of, he doesn't mean to make it tense, but it is, because it's it's a god, but he's
Yeah,
like just
and
acting
in
like
the
an
middle
old
of a
man.
time stop.
Yeah, and he's just acting like an old man. He goes,
Yeah.
so, I'm going to assume, and he kind of sets his spoon down. All of this is a bit grand for you.
All of
The time stop and the Tasha and me.
it is a bit more than most mortals would expect, I suppose, from one person's family.
Yes. You happen to pick 2 whole demigods to get engaged to.
I somehow did.
2 demigods. Have you met the other one?
I do not believe I've had the pleasure, though there's truly no way to know for sure.
I see. Well, I won't spoil it. But
Okay.
the little halfling tends to get more angry with me when I tell people her secrets. Kind of puts his fingers to his lips in that, like, old man being coy kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
He's got almost a comforting grandfatherly demeanor to him, but it's kind of lost in the fact that he's a god.
Yeah, and Gale's mind is definitely like starting to like conspiracy theory board. Halfling, Rika. How many halflings have I seen around Rika?
Just one. Just the one.
Yeah, he's doing that math real fast.
So,
but he doesn't say it.
My grandson tells me that he is head over heels in love with you.
I
tells me
would say the same.
Basis how wonderful you are, and I'm kind of his only family left, aside from Tasha, but no one likes her. He's like waving his hand dismissively toward the area where she scuttled off to.
Gale doesn't say anything. He does kind of make a slight, like, polite grimace, like, I can see where you're coming from. Like, that's the kind of face he's making.
But I'm granddad, you know?
I suppose.
It is good to meet you. Finally.
Likewise. Yes.
Obviously, because, you know, I'm the son. Been watching.
It's an incredible honor.
But, he talks about you constantly. Do you know that?
I did not.
He does. He's talked about you constantly since he was a child. First it's Granddad, then I met this amazing new friend. He's so cool. He's a prince. It's like a fairy tale. I wonder if I can become a knight and keep hanging out with him. And then it was puberty. Granddad, I think I'm in love with the prince. But I can't tell him.
No. It must have been quite the ordeal to watch.
Oh, yes. You ever notice how hot it gets in Melvant when Merritt's outside? It's because I'm trying to burn him to death.
I had not noticed, but I will take note of it in the future.
Moradin. Fucking asshole. But, it's good to finally meet the little prince who my knight is in love with. And he's got this, like, very happy smile as he picks up a small cup of, like, a little glass of wine and sips at it. He goes, ooh, that's important, too. Them some really good grapes.
I did try to ensure that only the best would be here for tonight.
You did a great
mostly
job.
to celebrate the engagement, but I am extraordinarily
Congratulations, by
pleased.
the way, and he, like, pats your hand. He is
Thank you.
warm.
Gale's fine. He's resistant to hot damage, fire damage. Yeah.
He's like if you were to touch someone who had a really high fever.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yeah.
He's not like burn your skin hot unless he wants to.
Okay.
But he is warm to the touch.
Mm-hmm. So probably about as warm as Gale is.
Would Gale, do you think, be a willing creature for a spell to be cast on him?
In the presence of a god, I think he would be unable to.
Yeah, exactly. There's no way you can pass
decline.
an AC 30 saving throw.
Yeah. So
he casts calm
like,
emotions on Gale when he pats him on the hand.
Oh, okay, cool. I think. Okay, so yeah, Gale was tense. He was very anxious about the time stop. Ken coming. All of the things. He took a lot of stress. Yeah, the shovel talk from Igwilv, and he took a lot of stress from the High Sun Games and all of that. So, yeah, I think very noticeably to someone with as high perception as a god would have.
Yeah, as the sun god, specifically.
Yeah.
He would I see all sun god.
You would definitely notice that Gale relaxes a little bit. And he does like take a breath, and then he does say,
It is my most extreme pleasure to finally meet all of Leo's family. I've met his sister already, and I believe there's little else that I have
He
yet
has
to
a little
encounter.
brother. He has a
Yes,
little
I suppose
brother.
that would be one I should have to seek out later.
If you go down to Waterdeep at any given point, that's where his brother lives. He's a priest.
Mm. I shall seek him out then. We plan to head there soon, actually.
Look for him in the Temple of Pelor.
I shall, thank you.
By the way, good job in the High Sun games. I saw your team won. You know those are games in service to me, right?
Yes, they are. I hope you found them pleasing.
Oh, I did. Kind of funny how you got your back cracked by that monk.
Yes, cracked is one way to
That was
put
a
it.
phenomenal show you put on. I liked the
I
illusory
hope-
terrain.
Thank you. I thought it was quite the nice touch.
It was a phenomenal touch. And the proposal, I'm the son. I was watching.
Even so far underground.
No, the one in the arena.
Oh, that wasn't the proposal. That was
That
just
wasn't
the
the
precursor to the
proposal?
proposal. No,
Oh,
that was just
I only got
transport.
to see I only got to see the part in the Coliseum with the marching band. That was amazing.
Thank you. No, the actual proposal took place within my retainer Solana's.
The Dragon's Lair.
Yes,
Yes,
that within Mount Ateno.
Yes, no, I wasn't privy to that one. Bahamut probably was. He can see into any dragon's lair.
That makes sense. I suppose, knowing that Tasha has taken such a keen interest in Leo, I highly suspect that she also took an interest in that.
Probably. Though when she
Most
saw
likely.
the silver dragon, she probably ran for the hills. She's terrified of him. Terrified.
That would be why Leo was so entertained. He did not elaborate exactly on what terrified his mother so.
Oh no, she's horrified of dragons. There was this one time when Bahamut scared the ever-loving hell out of her. It was great. And then when she was in the abyss, she was kind of forced to the front line of the blood war because she was with Gratz. And Tiamat, she ended up face to face with Tiamat. When I tell you
goodness.
that was funny, it was so funny.
That does seem rather dramatic.
It
Tiamat.
was great. It was great. She's held down by giant obelisks. It's fine. Anyway, it was phenomenal to meet you, little prince. I look
Of course.
forward to hearing much more from my grandson about you. He's
Yes.
on his way now, and he'll kind of gesture over to
before-
Leo.
Before he arrives, is there anything you need of anything you would like to ask, anything you need of me?
You've already given me what I need. I get to see my grandson smile every day.
And I'm happy to be of service.
I am happy to see that service, because he loves you. He will probably continue to. And I don't want to give you a threat like Tasha did. I know that she probably came over here and said something about burning Melvon to the ground. What happened?
And then some.
Yes. I don't have to tell you that the expression of the wrath of the sun.
Yes, the full concentrated power of the sun might be a bit difficult for Melvont to deflect.
Won't be Melvon. It'll be just you.
Even better.
And he'll just pat your hand and go, but don't worry. I have no illusion that you'll ever hurt my boy.
Well, if I do, disintegration by sun would be the least of what I deserve.
Exactly. But I don't foresee it ever happening. You seem like a good lad. And trust me,
I appreciate that appraisal.
Trust me, I know. I'm a patron deity of good things. So, if you ever
Thank
need,
you.
if you ever need anything, I'm literally a prayer away. And he gives you a wink, and Gale finds a holy symbol to Pelor in his hand.
Oh, okay.
And when he looks down at it and looks back up, Pelor's gone. And Leo's kind of walking toward him, and he goes, "Did you see that they have the whose idea was the lobster bisque?"
I think it takes Gale like half a second to respond. Like half a second of where he just is looking at his hand, and then he slides it down into his lap and responds to Leo, just casually.
I believe it was garçons.
Oh, good. I gotta thank him. What you got there, love?
Just a token of sorts. No. It is a holy symbol. It's not cursed this time.
Let me see.
Gale hands it over.
Kind of looks at it, and he chuckles and goes, "So, how long was I time stopped?"
Yes, about 20 to 30 minutes, I would guess.
Was it just Granddad, or?
No. Your mother decided to pay a surprise visit.
Yeah, that one I expected. Didn't expect Granddad.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So they both showed up and expressed mutual wrath should anything occur to harm you emotionally.
Great!
Specifically on my part. So that was
Great.
entertaining for them, I'm sure.
Are you okay?
I suppose, realistically, I've nothing to fear because I don't intend to ever bring harm to you. But there is still a part of me that worries, oh no, what if I accidentally do something to hurt your feelings and then your mother the god of the sun kills me?
Hold on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Accidentally hurting my feelings and intentionally breaking my heart are two different things, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Second,
Your mother may not think the same.
My mother may not, but she also has to deal with Pop Pop.
Mm-hmm.
And she, like you said, the fully unmitigated wrath of the sun is not something she wants to bring upon herself.
Yes. Yes.
So...
The entire sun.
Yes, the whole thing. The literal sun. Not just sunbeam, the whole literal sun.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Also, he said you talk about me a lot.
Bastard. Yes, I do.
I do not believe you're supposed to curse at a god like that.
My grandfather, I can curse at him if I wish. You see the holy symbol heat up in his hand. He goes, "Ow! Okay, I get it."
Give it here.
Here, it's
Gale
hot.
holds out his hand.
It's hot.
Gale will just take it.
It's on a necklace, so you can just take it by the necklace. It is burning red heat metal hot.
Yeah. Okay, Gale will let that cool off for a second until it's no longer glowing red, and then he'll just
Sets
put it
on
in
the
a pocket.
table.
He'll just hold it in the air, and you know what? Actually, he'll probably just let's see, which one is it?
Ray of Frost. It just
Just ray of frost it just a little bit,
It becomes like this gleaming crystal.
and then he'll pocket it.
He gets touchy when I curse at him.
Then perhaps he should refrain. Although I do not presume to tell you what to do.
No, it's fine. He knows I mean it in good fun. But yes, I do talk about you a lot. It's what happens when you're enamored with someone for 20 some odd years.
I think Gale is he's still like fiddling with the chain hanging from his pocket, and he's just grinning like a dingus. He can't stop it. He tries to keep like a normal face because he's supposed to be looking professional. Like, people are looking at him again now because Time Stop has stopped.
Yeah.
But he cannot help the goofy grin that spreads across his face.
That is
It's-
sweet.
It is wonderful to know that my grandfather did not also overly threaten you. Otherwise, you would have probably been more terrified looking, knowing you.
He seemed to have faith in me.
That's I don't mean to overinflate his importance, but that is a big deal.
Yes. Yes. The god of the sun had faith in me.
Yes.
Ooh. That's odd. Okay. Right. And that was your grandfather. Great. Several times great.
Yes.
Grandfather.
Pop is what I call him.
I do not think I can call him the same. I do not think I could bring myself to.
That was out of character.
You good? You need water?
I'm alright.
Yeah.
I've got grape juice.
Close enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gale continues.
Your mother was not quite as
Kind, yes.
optimistic. Yes. Yes. I believe her intent is to raise the entire world should anything unforeseen happen to you.
Sounds like mother. She
Any
knows
luck, nothing
that
will.
She knows that I am an adventurer and that my life is dangerous. She will not raise Melvant to the ground should I come to harm.
We can only hope.
Probably. She wouldn't go
Is
against the
it-
entire Council of 8.
The entire council. Yeah, it's quite a bit to get all of them on one side.
I mean, all of them like you a lot.
Well, yes, I suppose.
Besides,
Perhaps.
you're the apprentice of what, Mordenkainen now?
You're not technically supposed to know that.
I know because that's my mother. She's a gossip.
Of course she told you.
Yes. But you're the apprentice of the most powerful wizard in the world. Like, I know that Blackstaff says he is, but it's Mordenkainen.
It's Mordenkainen.
It's Morden fucking Kainen. There's
I'm so glad someone else gets it. It's incredible.
It's yes, exactly. I'm
God,
the
I have
son
been-
of a witch, of course I know.
I've been so incredibly thrilled. I've been bursting at the seams, dying to talk about it. It's so exciting.
We can talk about it in the observatory when we go home.
Yes, please. Please.
Have you met Bigby yet?
Yes, I have.
I used to call him Uncle Bigby. He used to ride me
You
around.
used to.
He used to ride me around on the hand back when I lived with my mother in the carnival.
That's so cool. Yes, we should definitely discuss this later.
When we're not in a room full of people. Yes.
Yes, I generally try not to geek out in front of others at social events.
At that moment, Gale hears probably almost jumpily. Gale's probably almost jumpy at this point. It sounded like chairs.
100%. Yeah.
A chair kind of be scooted out on the other side of him from where Leo is sitting, and then a small figure sit in it and begin eating. And he goes, "What are we talking about?" This is Big B.
Speak of the devil and he shall appear.
Oh yeah.
Good evening.
No, absolutely. 100% I'm the devil. How we doing?
wonderfully. Just got engaged.
Yes, I heard. That's what I was coming over here to talk to you about. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes. I hear tell that my fiance here calls you Uncle Bigby.
Oh, yeah, little Leo. Absolutely. How you been, little guy? And he goes, Uncle Bigby, you're tiny compared to me now. Yeah, but you're still little to me. Yeah, that's my nephew.
That's incredible. That's your nephew.
God nephew, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So this is incredible. It's so wonderful to realize that Leo has such a large and wonderful family.
Well, yeah. It's the family that he chose at this point. It's the bloodline is thin, but the family itself is wonderful.
Family is what you make of it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I think.
Yes.
Congratulations, kid. Congratulations on getting engaged, and welcome to the family. I'm assuming you've already gotten the shovel talk from Big, Dark, and Scary.
Multiple times over.
Tasha's kind of a weirdo sometimes. Don't worry about her. I'll stop her if she ever tries to hurt you.
Appreciate that greatly. Thank you.
No problem. And you know who will also stop her. She doesn't exactly fuck with him often. It's a bad idea for her to do it anyway. But yeah, if you come to the and he like stops himself. When
Leo
you get a moment,
is aware.
Okay, yeah, Tasha told him. Of course she did. When you get a minute, come to the tower. We've got a cake baked for you. Melf made it.
Melf made it.
Yeah. It's a
That
congratulations.
seems interesting.
It's a congratulations cake.
Just myself?
You can bring Leo along. It's fine.
Gale looks to Leo like with an inquisitive look, like, do you want to go? Okay.
Leo, I think it's not something that Gale hasn't caught him doing before. But Leo does read your spell book often.
Oh, yeah. Spellbook or diary? Because I know Leo reads his diary. That was mentioned. Yeah.
Spellbook.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Leo is super enamored by arcane magic. Doesn't want to learn how to do it. Just enamored on how it's done.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. Cool. That's really cute though. I do have a question though.
Yes.
Is he metaphorically buzzing or literally?
Both.
It's so cute. Oh no. Okay, I'm writing that down. Cool. All right. All right. So yeah, Gale looks fondly at his literally and metaphorically buzzing fiance, and then leans back over to talk to Bigby again.
So, who's invited to the occasion?
Oh, the whole council.
The entire council. Any others? Any other apprentices?
Yes, Leo's sister will be there.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Other apprentices, my apprentice is currently not on this plane, otherwise he'd be coming.
Who is? Shall I assume I will have the occasion to meet them later?
Yeah, at some point. He's
at some point.
He's currently in another. So I don't know if you know about the multiverse, right?
I have been made aware of the multiverse. Yes.
So my apprentice is currently in Greyhawk. He's investigating something for me about Vecna. Yeah. So, liches, you know how they are.
Yes.
He's technically a lich god in Greyhawk. So we have to figure out what he's doing over there. We sent my apprentice and a multiversal agent, a little halfling lady, over to Greyhawk to figure that out.
Well, I wish luck to the both of them.
Yeah, they're usually pretty reliable, and besides, they're just scouting. Though the halfling's usually a little reckless, she's kind of stupid. She's paladins, you know?
Well, halflings do have a tendency for luck, so hopefully that makes up for it.
Exactly. But don't worry about it. Come to the tower. We'll we'll use the key. He'll kind of pull out his own key. We'll find a door that's kind of secluded, and we'll go to the tower. And
of course, yes. I believe I have to speak with my brother first, and then
And Gale starts listing off like dignitaries and other people that he has yet to personally greet.
Bigby nods and goes, "Well, here's what we'll do. Tonight, when you guys go back to your castle, you use the key. I'm sure Mordenkainen gave you one. And you
Yes.
can come into the tower, and we'll all congratulate you. You two
Of
have a
course,
good night."
yes. Thank you.
And he
And you as well.
he like grabs his little like plate of food that he made, snaps his fingers, big fuck off purple hand appears, and he zooms off on it.
Yeah, Gale just looks on like, yeah, that's about what I expected.
If you'll recall, Bigby was the one who did your fireworks.
Yeah. I think Gale has already probably effusively thanked him so much and probably honestly sent an arrangement of flowers.
Phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably going to be waiting for him in his office when he gets back.
Hell yeah. But yeah, I think from the rest of the night there, it's the way it played out in the session.
Mm-hmm.
And then, unless you want to do anything else with that, I think we pan out, right? With Gale and Leo going in to get their cake from the Council of Eight.
Of course. Who doesn't love cake?
Exactly.
Even if it's made by the same person who made Acid Arrow.
Exactly. It's red velvet, though. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Citric acids this time. It's got a little hint of citrus in it.
That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like an orangey red velvet.
Uh-huh. But yeah, I think that's where we pan out for the session.
Of course, yeah.
This was absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you for making this happen.
Thank you for letting me facilitate this.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go ahead and say goodbye to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you, Lynx, for playing. And we kind of take a bow, like the stage bow.
Uh-huh.
And then we let the curtain drop. Have a wonderful evening, everybody. Bye!
Bye!